We got a video to get to,
Yeah, we
right?
do got a video.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
Wait,
shit! Really? That's crazy.
We finally got Vincent here. Look,
Alright, drop the link. Drop the
finally
link.
showed up.
Drop the link.
Look who
Drop the
finally
link.
showed
Drop
up.
the link to the watch together, please.
Vincent.
He already
If I
did.
sell-
Scroll up.
Where is it? I don't see it.
Scroll up.
Introduce yourself.
Here, hold up.
There, I got it.
Vincent.
If I sell, yeah, what's up, Eska?
Hey, what is up? Oh shit,
Hey.
did I mute the...
Hey, Fred.
I did mute the thing, okay. That's
Yeah,
why I
yeah.
didn't hear it.
Man, you're an idiot.
Shut the fuck up.
You are.
No, shut the fuck up.
You too, buddy.
Patience.
Multiple fucking...
Miles
If I
Morales.
sound bad, it's because I'm driving, so
Oh,
That's crazy.
night
man.
driving.
Maybe you should stop driving.
that's.
Well,
Night
Miles
how
Morales.
far from home are you?
Miles
I'm
Morales.
gonna kill you.
That was
I'm gonna
the
kill you in your
worst
sleep.
shit you ever should.
I'm
like,
gonna kill
never
you in your
speak
sleep.
again,
What?
please.
What did I do? What did I do?
Just never.
You know
talk.
exactly what you did,
That
you
was-
little
that was
bitch.
the corniest
Be
shit I've
quiet.
ever heard.
I just asked him a
You
question.
corny motherfucker. You're corny as shit.
You know what you were
You're
doing, SK.
corny
You
as
know what you
shit.
were fucking
You know
I
doing.
didn't do-
exactly what you were
I
doing.
think you guys are just, you're
Miles.
losing it. I think you guys.
I think you're a goofball.
I think you should go to
I'm like,
hell.
I'm like, what?
You first, Buckaroo.
Okay,
I'll
how
have
many
to-
minutes? How many
Miles.
minutes?
Probably like 20. I want to say I'll have to leave.
Okay.
Uh,
Well,
All right,
you
then
can
get
you
out
can
of
listen.
here.
You
Come
can,
back in
sh-
20 minutes when
no,
you're not driving.
You can
Miles.
listen
Yeah, 'cause I'll
along.
have to, like,
You can listen along. Like you can either put the watch together up, or we'll just tell you what the points are.
Okay, all right. He's an adult. He'll
Bigger.
figure it
You-
out. Don't worry,
Miles.
SK.
Venom PS5. I mean, obviously, yeah, Venom.
I can come back.
Going crazy.
All right, then come
Nah,
back.
you can chill here. You can chill here. It's fine.
No, we
Um,
can't.
Shut the fuck up,
Miles
dog.
Morales.
You too, buddy.
All right. So this finally stops playing over and over again. Let's hear him out. Let's hear out
The
what
walking
he has
through.
to say.
All right, yeah, fucking yes, play the
Miles
video.
Morales.
Uh,
Miles Morales, the hip new hero that is taking over as the face of Marvel,
Wow.
except he's not new, and just about everything people like about his story are things that we've already seen before.
But wasn't the death
Okay.
of his uncle really sad?
Yeah, we've seen that before.
Not the same context at all.
But it's different because the villain was someone that he cared about.
Yeah, we've seen that before.
Not the same at all either. So first of
Well,
all,
hold
so
on,
first
hold
of
on,
all,
wait, hold on.
Who the
A
fuck
bigger
did that?
point. I want to say bigger point here. Bigger point
Four.
here.
But it's still
What is even
Four.
the issue with like taking like inspiration from things that have come before? Like literally like pretty much every story nowadays
well, they're
does
parallels. Like you can do this argument with Nightwing. Oh, Nightwing's basically Batman. Why? Well, his family died, and that motivated him to fight crime, and
Well,
he does martial arts,
also-
and he's in DC, like
I mean, most modern stories are piggybacking off
Or-
of
but
ideas
but it's
that were
different
like
because the
created
villain was
and
someone that he cared
presented,
about.
Like,
Yeah, we've
years
seen that
ago.
before. The point I'm trying to make here is that Miles.
Why did you just play? Stop playing at people.
Did what I say come through?
Say it
No.
again.
Oh damn. Okay, I was just saying that like a lot of the like most modern stories like that have been written in the past like 5-10 years are just like piggybacking off of like older stories from like decades ago.
Yeah.
Seen before.
But wasn't
Yeah.
the death of his uncle really sad?
Yeah, we've seen that before.
But it's different because the villain was someone that he cared about.
Yeah, we've seen that before. The point I'm trying to make here is that Miles, along with the entire Spider-Verse concept, dilutes the initial appeal of Spider-Man, and Miles can only find success by poaching
That's just a visual reference.
That's just
That's the
elements
visual
from the
I don't know
original
why-
and
well. Like, what does he even mean? He's saying it's only popular because of Spider-Man. Like, what the fuck even is that argument?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
that
I don't know
that
what
kinda
this
comes with-
means.
character. That kind of comes with being a legacy character.
It's
so
like
I
saying the
really-
MCU is only popular because Spider-Man's from Marvel, so the other characters get recognized. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Right. Really get what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
from the original and taking it for himself. Furthermore, the mere existence of this character is contradictory to everything the original Spider-Man stands for. Let me explain.
Whoa!
With
All right,
Yeah,
let
great
him
power
explain. Yeah, he
comes
said
great
let him explain.
responsibility. That's the phrase that Spider-Man lives by, even though the movies hate using this phrase for some reason.
Look, when you can do the things that I
Yeah, sorry they want to paraphrase and not repeat what's been done before.
can, but
I
you
mean, they
don't.
literally say it in No Way Home. Like the great responsibility speech comes in No Way Home, so it's like, I mean, that's not true. I mean,
Hmm.
I mean, better than never, I guess. But like,
And then the
I
bad
mean, even
things happen.
TASM 1 didn't have the full thing. They just still said responsibility.
Yeah, I mean, it has the central idea in there. I mean, I think Ultimate Spider-Man did something similar in the first volume.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
It happened because of you.
If you could do good things for other people, you had a moral obligation to do those things.
I'm gonna pause just in case. Oh yeah, this is the only version that's actually like bad.
Okay, he has
I mean, it's
When
Madam
you take
Web,
on
of course.
when you take on responsibility, great power will come. That's
Yeah.
not a regular sentence.
Well, alright, yeah, we already covered that. Like,
It's
what
not
is he
just
trying
a
to
fancy
get at here?
quote. It is the main theme that this story revolves around.
That's
Uncle Ben
weird.
dies as a direct result of Peter Parker's inaction. If he doesn't step up and use his powers for good, then innocent people will get hurt. Moreover, this character is a solo act by design. Sure, he'll interact with big teams from time to time, especially during the big events, but he has never been a long-term mainstay on any team. And
Yeah, that's literally in none of these adaptations.
I-
In the
and I
MCU,
don't
he
e-
only joins the Avengers on occasion as well.
He's joined the Avengers once, literally once.
Yeah.
like I don't even
One time.
I don't even really agree with like, oh, he's like a complete select. He literally had a book called Marvel Team Up where he teamed up with other heroes like all the time. And it
Yeah,
was,
in
like,
the comics, he does team up with people like a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it
it's-
happens so much.
like he always, and even if it's like not like a team up, he always goes to them for help or like when like something to get done, he'll like ask the Avengers, the Fantastic Four. Like he's not like oh, I don't work with anyone ever. But like he's like no, he'll get help when he needs. It's not like that.
He's
Yeah.
literally a fucking Avenger in the comics. Like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, like a reserve Avenger. Like they'll
I mean,
call him
also,
if they.
And the he doesn't really work with the Fantastic Four all that much, but he interacts with them like numerous times in the comics.
Also,
Yeah, like I
Also-
remember. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
There was literally a storyline with like where like Atlantis was like invading fucking New York, and like it was just the Fantastic Four and like Spider-Man dealing with it, like nobody else. It was like so it's like this. They do this stuff. It's not like
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah,
mean, yeah,
well-
Skids just mentioned the 90s animated series. They have that all the time.
Well, not to mention too, like Marvel is constantly using Spider-Man to like almost kind of give blessings sometimes to new characters like Miss Marvel or like Daredevil. I think even had like when he debuted, I think there was a like kind of almost Spider-Man. Like there's a lot of heroes that sometimes get introduced like newly, not all of them, but usually they end up crossing over with Spider-Man, and that's usually as a way of like boosting their like sometimes how you say visibility kind of deal. So it's like, I mean, Spider-Man is like most commonly most used superhero for crossovers, because again, like if you have like a superhero that's still new or they want to give boosting to readers or show like, hey, there's this hero you should read about, they're kind of cool, it's like usually cross up with Spider-Man. It's the same with how like anytime they have a new like gimmick comic, so like we're gonna do noir comics, what's the first superhero? Spider-Man. We're doing this 2099 idea, who's gonna be the first superhero we introduce? Spider-Man. Like it's usually always him.
Yeah.
and there's a multitude of reasons for why
It'd be great to team up with a group my own age, but fate seems to have meant me to be a loner. So that's a thought that he has. That's not something
Yeah,
that's,
like what the fuck?
that's like eternal.
also he literally is saying he would like to be on a team. Like
Yeah.
like it'd be,
why that is. His strict preservation of his identity makes it
And shortly, presenting the all-new, totally revamped Spider-Man. Very funny. Flame Brain, I'll get you for this. Couldn't be helped, Webs. What?
Dude,
difficult
in
for him to
Ultimate
get close.
Spider, well, I want to say in Ultimate Spider-Man, fucking Johnny Storm literally knows who Peter is. He literally sleeps on his fucking couch. Like,
but he has never
also,
been
like, there are plenty of
a
peers
long-term main
who do know Peter's identity, like who are like and are like good friends with him. Like Matt Murdock knows his identity by Death of the Wolf, so it's like they've known each other for a really long time, like each other's
Yeah.
identity.
Even if they didn't know their identities, like, does it matter?
yeah, I don't think. Yeah, like his whole point is like he doesn't work with people because his like identity is like a big point. It's like you don't need to reveal your identity to work with people. What the fuck is that?
Spider-Man
Also-
literally works with the police captain, and he doesn't reveal his identity.
Also,
Yeah, like-
literally, that's how the Avengers used to work, like in some of those old comics. Like I remember reading an old comic about like the Avengers from like back when they were starting out, and literally they say that they don't even know each other's identity, but they're a team.
Yeah, like Tony Stark, he did not. He has a secret identity, like for decades. Like Captain America had a secret identity. Like it was all a thing.
Yeah, and still, Spider-Man like works with them in the '90s cartoon. He worked with Iron Man. None of them know their identities. He's worked with Cap. Pretty sure they don't know each other's identities. Well, I guess maybe he knew Steve Rogers, but Steve Rogers didn't know him.
Yeah.
I guess he's like his point is like it being like, oh, like a more consistent thing. Like, oh, we're gonna be like a team. Like we get together like every day to do stuff together, not just meeting up like once or twice every week or something.
But it's not in the MCU, which I
Best
assume is his
X-Men
point.
movie. It's if we're talking purely just X-Men movies, like where they're actually like kind of a team, I'd probably say Days of Future Past. I haven't watched them in a while, but yeah. But if we're talking like in that universe, I'd say Logan.
I'd say maybe First Class or one of the first two. Days of Future Past, I love that movie, but it definitely has a lot of problems.
I haven't watched it in forever, so I don't know.
Main stand any
It's
team,
got issues, but
and
it's
there's
really good.
a multitude of reasons
a
for
great
why
one.
that is. His strict preservation of his identity makes it difficult for him to get close with his superpowered friends. His home life is a mess, and
Also, that's not even entirely true. Like, there's an annual where he thinks of working with the Avengers, but he decides not to. And the reason is because he doesn't agree with their methods. So it's not about hiding identities.
Yeah.
he would struggle to commit the time to a team, and overall, there are plenty of heroes to take on Avengers-level threats. But there are not enough heroes watching over the common man, so Spider-Man prefers to direct his time towards keeping the streets safe.
That's not even like what his logic is. His logic is if I can help, I will. That includes like major planetary threats.
Yeah, like Peter, he doesn't like be like, oh, I'm not
Far from home.
Oh yeah, my bad.
All right.
I think Vincent was talking.
Oh, I'm making the point. Like he doesn't. Yeah, I was just basically agreeing with you. Like he doesn't like be like, oh, I don't get involved with big stuff. He'll get involved with big stuff if he really needs to. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
But most notably, the entire point of this story is about a man who is learning the importance of responsibility in a world where everything is going wrong, and he is the only one with the power to make a difference. But in order to make that difference, he must constantly sacrifice his personal life. So his mission throughout his various stories is juggling his time and effort between maintaining these two lives that he lives.
Literally all of them do this.
So with all this in mind, you may be able to imagine how problematic a second Spider-Man would be to this style of story.
No, it's really not.
No.
Like literally,
Really?
even with the two of them existing in Spider-Man 2, a core point is balance is not a balance is a process, not a destination. That's what the whole
I don't
quote
even.
is about.
Well, he's saying he's saying this is contradictory to the like I'm gonna help out when I can, yada yada yada. That doesn't make that Miles being there doesn't change that. Like what the fuck? Like inherent, like probably like obviously in Spider-Man 2, like by the end they do, but like I'm saying just inherently as a concept that doesn't change anything. That's like saying Peter shouldn't like the existence of other heroes. Like in New York, you know how many other heroes are in New York all the time? Like Moon Knight,
Exactly.
Daredevil, Luke Cage. Like the fuck?
yeah, like this. I'm not really sure. Like, what's the issue with Peter needing help with? Like, just because there's two of them, like that doesn't mean like crime is still like very rampant. Like it's not going away or anytime. It's just easier to deal with, but it's
Actually-
still.
Go ahead.
Nah, sorry, I made my point. Go ahead.
Well, not actually, like, it also kind of helps him because it's like he has more help and he'll be more efficient because then literally, if he goes up against, like, it's even funny how he's using this cutscene, but it's like they literally fight the Rhino and Peter already struggles against the Rhino as it is. I mean, he would have done more destruction if Miles wasn't there. Yeah, he was a bit green around the ears, but he still then ultimately helped defeat him. I mean, and like I said, not to mention too, he's gone up against the Sinister Six, and sometimes they've even made the team bigger. But at the same time too, it's like, again, he has been able to do it solo, but 2 Spider-Men means that more people will get saved. If Peter was just like, nah, Miles, fuck off, you know, I'm gonna do my own thing, you know, kind of deal. Like I'm a loner, I only do crime by myself, kind of deal. It's like that means less people will get help, and in some cases, if you've got like a big citywide problem, like sometimes how like symbiotes invade, or you know, or if the
or even just Carnage.
Yeah, or even just Carnage by himself. He needs help. I mean, Maximum Carnage, he literally had to enlist the help of Cloak and Dagger, Firestar, Black Cat, Venom. I mean, and then Captain America. I mean, I think Iron Fist at one point shows up. I mean, again, he literally needed so much help, which he would have already had that help if he had like the help of Miles and also Ben Reilly if Marvel didn't decide to character assassinate him. But
the modern Peter Parker will take vacations and pass on the mantle, because there is a newer, more powerful, more relatable, better in every way Spider-Man.
He didn't even... Okay. In this scene of Spider-Man 2, he's literally not even passing on the mantle. The mantle's already been... Miles already has the mantle. Peter's doing something that will also help the world. It's not like he's just saying, fuck the world. He's simultaneously doing something that will help the world and trying to get his financial situation in order. What the fuck are you talking about?
Right, like this is going under the guise that like usually when like Peter and Miles are like still active together, like Peter doesn't go, well, I guess I don't have to worry anymore because Miles has got it. He's like, no, we're both Spider-Man. We both share this responsibility. It's not. Yeah. Like the only time like that happens is when Peter literally gets killed, and then it's Miles because Peter is dead, and nothing he can do about that now, can it? Yeah. Like I don't understand.
No, Peter dying is character assassination, bro.
Yeah. Can just take over the job full time, so Peter is no longer needed.
I got this.
It's not what the scene is saying, and it's especially apparent too when it literally has connections to Across the Spider-Verse, which he mentions in this video, and it literally shows him on Spider Society. So, yeah. Like, I don't know why he keeps saying, well, he's not needed anymore. Clearly he is.
Like, did people genuinely think he's just retiring? Like, I still don't get this. He's not.
He never said that. It's a straw man.
Coming out. I mean, the 3rd game is coming out. He's not done. There's no way.
Dude, I guarantee you they're gonna have him in the DLC. Like, I guarantee you he's gonna be in the DLC. There's probably gonna be a time skip before the DLC, and he's gonna be in it.
There's Beetle, Carnage, Spider-Verse. Yes, he's going to be in those.
Right,
yeah.
I don't know about Beetle. Maybe they'll give that one to Miles, but Carnage for sure.
Yeah, fuck you doing. What fuck is Miles gonna do about Carnage on his own?
Get out of him.
All of it. Go be Peter Parker for a while.
That shit is wrong.
But if you remember what we said about great power and great responsibility, you'll know that this flies in the face of everything that Spider-Man stands for.
He's still doing things.
Why? He's still being responsible. What the fuck are you talking about?
He's using his resources with the EMF to try to better the world.
Also, literally, there is such a thing as other responsibilities. Like, literally, people use this in real life, too, when sometimes it's like, hey, dude, you want to go out tonight? It's like, no, I got other responsibilities, you know? Or it's like, we need you for this project, and it's like, I've got prior engagements, you know? Or, you know, I've got a responsibility I got to uphold.
Yeah.
Peter Parker does not get the luxury of taking a vacation or something.
That's not true. It's not like he has to work all the time 24/7. He's allowed to have a break.
Yeah, like
what about cops? What about cops? They have to take vacations.
Well, yeah, cops do have to take vacations. I mean,
well, no, cops are just character assassinated, bro.
Yeah, they're character assassinated. But yeah, like,
why did they?
It's not. Never mind. Never mind.
But yeah, that's the thing. Like, you know, yeah, he has to be Spider-Man, but it's also important to be Peter Parker. It's also his responsibility to have both of his lives balanced, because if there's still a man under there, I don't think he understands this. There's still a man under there, and if you don't treat him as such, then he's not gonna perform well.
They literally say this in the beginning of the game. Like, you can't be good at everything.
Yeah.
Like, when something starts to take over too much, or fucking, you know, you try to be good at everything, you'll wind up being good at nothing. Like, it's
Yeah.
literally, they literally show shit like this in the first game when he's fucking, after beating Electro and Vulture, he has
he
to
falls
sleep because
asleep.
he hasn't slept. After literally getting 14 of his bones broken, he's still out there, like, fighting people, like, putting his life on the line, instead of, like, staying there for a little bit more medical attention.
Yeah.
No, but you see, when he was brought into Feast for medical care, he doesn't have the luxury of a vacation, so that's a problem.
Yeah.
Or some
Can you go back
half-baked journey.
Because I want to see what the hell was he saying about Venom?
Venom.
I don't know. I don't think he said anything
With
about
great
that.
power and great responsibility, you'll know that this flies in the
is
face.
it still playing for me and not pausing? Oh my god.
That is a youth. We're at 240.
Okay, that. Oh my god. This platform. The Watch Together is trash.
Absolutely
That's
trash.
absolutely trash.
Alright, keep playing. Keep playing.
Of everything that Spider-Man stands for. Peter Parker does not get the luxury of taking a vacation, or some half-baked journey of self-face of everything that Spider-Man stands for. Peter Parker does not get the luxury of taking a vacation, or some half-baked journey of self-reflection, because his miraculous powers give him the obligation to protect the innocent, and when he doesn't do it, innocent people, often the ones he loves, get hurt. His morals compel him to be Spider-Man at all times, whether he wants to be or not, and that is his long-term struggle as a hero that he needs to wrestle with. If you just copy and paste another Spider-Man into the story, with him being someone who knows Peter's identity, shares his same struggles, and can take over the
We
mantle
don't
for
share
him
the
at
same
any time,
struggles.
Yeah,
then
they
you are
don't
completely
share the
missing the
same
point.
struggles.
Like the whole thing with Prowler,
They share-
that's entirely a family issue.
Well, it's not even like they have similar struggles. Like every superhero has the problem of balance. Like that's just pretty much very inherent for a lot of superhero
Or-
stories.
Or not even
Well,
that. Anyone that has a job.
Yes, like literally.
Yeah. Family stuff. We'll try to make it back. Okay.
Point of why this character exists. The concept of multiple Spider-Men has been done before, by the way, so not even that of why this character exists. The concept of multiple Spider-Men has been done before, by the way, so not even that is an original idea that Miles brings to the table.
What?
The fuck.
Okay. By
Okay.
that logic, Ben Riley's not original either because Spider-Man already exists.
Yeah, I mean, the hell.
So like,
As previously stated, Spider-Man's story is inherently a solo act, and stripping away that idea dilutes the appeal of the character. The closest we've
No.
gotten to a successful, well-liked clone was Venom, but Venom is different enough in look.
What? How
He's
is
not.
Venom a?
He's never meant to be a clone.
What the
What
fuck?
is he talking about?
Like literally, the point of Venom is he's supposed to be Spider-Man's opposite. Like even though yes, there's similarities, the idea is that Venom is meant to be the
Evil Spider-Man.
like literally, yeah, evil Spider-Man. And even when he does become redeemed, like a bit later, he's still different because he enters more of an anti-hero role because he still kills people. Spider-Man doesn't kill people, and he deals with other things far more than what Spider-Man does. Because even like, I've never read it, but you know, look at the whole King in Black shit. Like he has to deal with planets of symbiotes and like hive minds and like really cosmic stuff. Because even when Spider-Man deals with like cosmic stuff, it's not as
Well, no. He's saying that they are different or whatever. The clone point was fucking weird, but he is still saying they are different.
Clone theory.
But he's trying to say that Miles isn't different enough, which is like why.
I don't understand how not. I mean, again, we've literally gone through what all the differences between Miles and Peter, and still people are like they're just the same character. It's like what the fuck.
We're only letting FYI, we're only letting people on the panel if they disagree or they agree with this video,
Yeah.
or disagree with what we are saying. So I just want to make that clear.
Yeah.
All right,
Look and
keep letting it
ability
play.
to stand out on his
Let me be
own,
clear.
and he serves a different role in the story, being an anti-villain of sorts. So he never really has the problem of stepping on Spider-Man's toes and replacing him. Now, some of you may say,
Actually, you're wrong because Miles is a beloved and popular character too. His movies were a big success and people adore his video games.
well, you actually would be right about that to some degree. The numbers don't lie. The Miles-centric movies and video games were all successful. Even I myself enjoyed the first Spider-Verse movie, in spite of having very low expectations going into into it. So, what's the problem? Well, the issue lies in the notion that with the inclusion of Miles, the purpose of Spider-Man's story will be forever changed to accommodate his existence. The story will no longer revolve around the phrase, "with great power comes great responsibility." Peter no longer needs to be responsible, because there is plenty of power to go around.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What?
Oh, what? That doesn't even stretch to just Miles. That's just
That doesn't
every other
correlate.
hero. Should Peter just not exist in a Marvel universe now?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he said, like, oh my god, what the fuck is wrong with you?
All right, calm down, calm down. Before I tell you then.
That's such a weird point, because it's like, oh, what? Because Miles now exists or could potentially exist, there's no such thing as great responsibility. He still will have a certain level of responsibility. Not only his origin can still happen, but two, you could also make the argument he has another responsibility, training Miles and making sure that he doesn't get hurt. He now has a sidekick to also look out for, because Miles could easily become considered a liability to some degree, because if he still can't take to being Spider-Man or is like really bad at it, he'll always have to protect him and the civilians as well.
Yes.
But even if Miles is good enough to then be on his own, again, he can still share that responsibility with somebody, because again, as I mentioned earlier, there are still New York level threats that sometimes happen, and he could use all the help he can get. And if anything, what better than another Spider-Man who's literally sharing that responsibility and understands what the stakes are, versus maybe another hero who may be like, no, we do it our way and our way is better. Meanwhile, Spider-Man is like, I've literally fought this guy I don't know how many times, and I've done it well enough by myself. I just need help now because it's gotten even worse.
Yeah. Skids just said, should there be no other Superman character like Supergirl or Superboy, because Clark has to be the sole Kryptonian? I mean, yeah, it's basically the same logic. Same with the Green Lanterns.
Yeah.
Hello, Stir. Hello.
Hello.
We're going over a video that has a lot of problems.
Oh, lovely. Spider-Man has changed, has he?
I mean, yeah, he's
Yeah,
changed,
yeah.
but of course he's gonna change over the course of decades. I'd hope it's not the same thing over and over again.
Dude, he should still be saying slurs. That would be awesome if he
Oh my
continued to do
God.
that like the early 2000s. Should keep doing that.
Also, I'm also very interested. Is he just gonna keep focusing on the Insomniac and Spider-Verse movies? Because it's
He
like,
goes
if
after
you're gonna
MCU
make
too.
does he even mention like the Zeb Well comics like at all?
I don't know if he does. I think he mostly talks about Miles as a whole, Spider-Verse, Insomniac, and MCU.
See, like, that doesn't see to me, like, if you're gonna make the argument that Spider-Man has changed, it's easier to say with like Zeb Wells' run, because quite literally he is different, because he's so underpowered and his personality is damn near not the same, like, compared to Insomniac. I mean, because literally everybody has been saying Insomniac, Spider-Verse, and now even the MCU has now finally become Spider-Man the way we think, and achieves more like what the original comics did versus like the current run, or even like the new Ultimate Spider-Man run, which everyone's been loving. So it's like, if you're gonna say
Insomniac Spider-Man is more comic accurate than fucking comic Spider-Man right now.
yeah, like, how is that possible that all the adaptations are feeling more like their comic book counterparts than the actual mainstream comics? That's like, that takes another level of dedication to just sucking.
Honestly.
Alright, let
In
the
fact, the
video
meaning
play.
behind these stories will be much harder to find. The story beats, villains, and themes will either be diluted copies of what we've already seen in Peter's story, with the illusion of high quality coming from the fact that this is already—
When have we ever gotten Kingpin trying to get his family back and endangering the world just to get it? Have we ever gotten
Man, I love the story. I love the classic Peter Parker story where Spot wants to kill him because he turned him into the Spot. It's a classic, man. I love that one.
I love the classic story where Peter has to defeat social anxiety. Oh, wait.
already been done before, or there will be little to no meaning behind these
Well, I mean,
stories.
that kind of is Peter, like the social anxiety thing. That's one of his.
But I would say that's more social outcast, not social anxiety.
No, he's social. No, Peter's socially awkward. He's not like a dork, but he is socially awkward. I think the other thing, I think the bigger thing with Miles is his insecurities about living up to Peter. I think that's one of the bigger things.
Yeah. Okay. I would agree.
With the main appeal simply being the surface level coolness of the looks and powers that the Spider-Men possess. And sure, Spider-Man's design and skill set add a lot to his popularity, but it's the depth of Peter Parker's story that makes this character the greatest of all time. Though because of Miles' success, he will likely never go away at this point. If there's ever going to be an attempt to return to the classic Spider-Man story, we likely won't see it for a very long time. And to know that
But I thought you were complaining
you talking about?
Wait, so he says that we're not going to return to the classic story in a long time, but his complaint about Miles is that he's just Peter Parker and goes through all the same stuff. But I thought you wanted new stuff, or is change bad? I don't understand this.
Yeah, that's literally a contradictory statement. We're getting the same stuff with a different person, but I want new stuff. It's like, wait, what the fuck? Okay, wait, hold on. What do you want, actually? What the hell do you want?
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that Chad Puff?
I don't know.
It's handsome Squidward mixed with Mrs. Puff. This is fucking...
That's cursed.
Know this, as popular as Miles might be in the moment, his success is a fleeting fad because an imitation can only go so far before it leeches every idea from the original and becomes stale.
What?
It's not becoming stale. I don't know what he's talking about.
May say,
Man, I
well,
love the
Peter-
classic Peter Parker story where he struggles to live up to Peter Parker. Such a classic tale right there. Look at that, true life tales of Spider-Man. It's in that
Parker's
book.
story has been done before, and everyone already knows it now.
This
So the
is,
story of Miles
we're
is
5 minutes in, and this is already really bad.
Yeah.
a fresh new spin on a classic tale. I would disagree, as there are a hefty amount of classic Spider-Man stories that have yet to breach the comics and enter the mainstream. Not even close. And there's a hefty amount of storylines that were attempted to be carried over to the mainstream, but didn't quite make it due to horrible attempts at adaptation. And just for the sake of clarity, because what I just said might be controversial, Gwen Stacy's death scene was done really well in this movie, in isolation. It's just tragic that this scene was randomly plopped at the end of an otherwise rancid film that had nothing to do with this scene at all, alongside by far the worst Green Goblin portrayal to date. Tangent over. In regards to the Spider-Verse at large,
I guess he's trying to say that he wants an original character that isn't a carbon copy but with new stories, but he's wording it poorly. I'd agree.
I mean, technically, you've kind of have gotten it a bit with Ultimate Spider-Man right now, because literally he hasn't started as a teenager. He's starting as an adult after
When did
he's
this-
open.
When did
After
this
he's
video come out?
Like days ago.
Oh, okay.
Okay, then Ultimate Spider-Man already is out. So yeah, again, the point still holds that Ultimate Spider-Man has been released out, and that's a very fresh new take on the character, because literally this is Peter as an adult becoming Spider-Man. He's already married, he kids, and now he's
He doesn't even know what he wants, because he doesn't even know how to fucking characterize Peter. Like, everything he said about Peter and the arguments he's made is just simply not the case, or he takes it out of context.
Yeah.
It's
or
weird.
misrepresents it.
Yeah, it feels weird because it feels like, because despite him trying to bring up the comic source, it feels like he's just only going off of the adaptations and not just the comics, despite the fact that he's trying to use the source as like part of his argument. But it's very clear, I don't think he understands it, or he's still trying to fit the comics into the adaptations, when even the adaptations, even when they get everything right or are very accurate to the source, they still do things very differently. Like, I will hold, this is a nitpick, I don't think this is actually something bad. I still love the first movie very well, but my personal preference when it comes to Spider-Man and the whole origin is that I would have liked if they had made it a bit more justified and why he lets the criminal go, because they make it that, oh, he got screwed over on the money, so haha on you. I much prefer the idea that didn't happen, and Peter is just being selfish when he tells the cop, you know, hey buddy, that's your job, not mine, which really then like shows like this is why you need that, because you have this great power, you have a great responsibility kind of deal. Like I said, I think it's done well. I'm fine with it. It's just my own little nitpick on terms of adaptation, but you know, but still the point remains that it feels like he's trying to force certain things into what his narrative is supposed to be. And I almost wonder, is he just trying to fit a square peg into a triangle, you know? He's got the idea, he's already got the narrative played out, so how do I force all this into what I want to say?
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, it's annoying to still have to explain why multiverses are bad, but they aren't going away, so here we are again, adding multiverse stories into a franchise where they previously...
Yeah, people say like multiverse bad, but they don't explain why it's bad. They just say it is.
I mean, the multiverse can be annoying, but like also too, the multiverse can really help like creators take a new fresh start. I'm gonna bring it up again. Ultimate Spider-Man just came out and they're doing a very fresh new take on him, so it's like, and people love it, so maybe the multiverse isn't bad, you know?
The Legend CG says, it's funny he keeps mentioning that Miles is leeching Peter's stories, when Miles' recent comics are actually advancing Miles' character, while Peter's comics are stunting his development and looping plots.
No.
It's crazy. I mean, it's funny too, because like Across the Spider-Verse is literally like telling you, you know, all those stories that Peter has went through in the comics? That's what Miguel is trying to enforce on the Spider Society, and Miles is rejecting that.
Dude, yeah, that's literally like a meta theme of the movie. It's like not all these adaptations have to play out exactly the same way. Or maybe not exactly, like they don't have to be so similar to what you think they're gonna be.
Yeah,
you can defy that. And like another thing, it's like, where is fucking Peter's fucking story like this, where he's like struggling with his identity, figuring out who he wants to fucking be? Like, I mean, there's a part of that, I guess, but it's like in Across the Spider-Verse, he's like, in the beginning of the movie, he like desperately wants like, you know, people to like talk to and be with, like, because they share a struggle. And like by the end, he's like, he like takes his mom advice. Like, what I'm worried about is like, you're gonna go there and these people aren't gonna accept you, yada yada yada. And you're gonna have to figure out what you want to do. Like, you're gonna have to be your own person. It's like, where is the Peter story really like that?
Yeah, it's more so focused about him learning sacrifice, responsibility, learning how to balance all these things.
Yeah, because literally in the college arc, literally, I'm not kidding you, for many people who haven't read them, Harry and Gwen hate him when they first, like, they try to be friends, but because he's so wrapped up in Spider-Man and his whole, like, double identity thing, he ignores them to the point where they actually think that he's kind of an asshole, and they think he's just being a prude or being elitist, essentially, to the point where later they confront him with it, and he's just like, oh, okay, I'm sorry, like, I didn't mean to, like, I just got a lot on my mind. And later they become good friends, and then of course in the case of Gwen, boyfriend and girlfriend. But quite literally in that case, we don't get anything like that, like with Miles. Like, that would probably be an entire arc. With this, like, for quite a few comics, they think he's just a rude person because he's so wrapped up in the dual identity thing.
Yeah.
Previously didn't exist, just dilutes the appeal of the original story and makes everything that used to be important feel rather small, inconsequential, and meaningless. And that is especially true in the case of the Spider-Verse, where Spider-Man was once a brave hero who defied all odds in order to do the right thing.
They still do this.
Wow. Oh my god, the scene you cut to is the worst example for your point. What the fuck are you talking about?
He is now one of many drones who only exist to serve his predetermined fate.
Drones?
What?
Did you not see the ending, how there's several people who are like rejecting Miguel's ideas? Also too, did you not see how in the marketing for Across the Spider-Verse, clearly leading into Beyond, that they say the Spider War is starting? Like, that implies that there's going to be others who probably will reject. I mean, and also too, Spider-Verse in many ways probably is probably the big multiverse, like multiple versions and crossover event that really makes sense for Spider-Man, because literally the idea behind Spider-Man is it could have happened to anybody. It could have happened to anybody, but it happened to specifically Peter. So in many ways, with the way they frame it, it could make sense for why multiple versions could exist, because it could have been a different time place, it could have been a different time period, different place, different person. So it makes sense that there would be multiple versions of Spider people across the multiverse. But that's why, like, for many people, the Spider Totem and predetermined fate with Peter is so controversial, and so that's why Spider Totems suck. That's why Madame Web's whole Las Arañas thing is so stupid, because then that means, oh, Peter always meant to be Spider-Man, or oh no, there was other Spider people. So it's
that
like
did
a destiny.
nothing.
Yeah, literally did nothing until Spider-Man did it. I mean, so again, with Spider-Verse, they don't do that. They're even trying to fight against the idea of predetermination. This is the wrong movie to do that whole thing of like, oh, you know, it's all the same thing. It's like, yeah, and they're saying that's not always a good thing. We should be able to branch out.
Yeah, exactly. It's so weird, because like, yeah, he tries to bring up that, you know, Spider-Man is supposed to, you know, sacrifice what he wants for the right thing, but then he shows this scene right here where they're literally doing that as far as they believe.
And Miles is even saying, why can't we do both?
Yeah. Like, how are they drones if they're literally disagreeing with each other? They can have a disagreement day, but they're drones.
Literally spectacular to him. I know it sucks, Miles. Truth. Like,
yeah.
I sucks does not mean, yeah, we agree with all of this. Just obey, Miles. Please, just obey.
Exactly.
All right.
They're still human beings.
What do they keep playing?
Uncle Ben was doomed to die because that's Uncle Ben's cosmic role.
That's not what the film is saying.
Reality decided for him.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be Uncle Ben. I mean, literally, we're seeing Uncle Aaron right on the screen.
Exactly.
Because Peter was irresponsible, there is nothing Peter could have done to stop this. It is simply a canon event, bro. Nothing matters. The Spider-Men have no
That's not what canon events mean, that nothing matters.
agency. If one dies, another will spawn responsible. There is nothing Peter could have done to stop this. It is simply a canon event, bro. Nothing matters. The Spider-Men have no agency.
That's not what the film is saying. They're not saying they don't have free will.
They're saying that free will is literally the cause of these events. That's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's saying that, oh, it's just a canon event, nothing matters. Literally, Miguel is saying, if we do not obey the canon, then everything is fucked.
I also want to point out, like, granted the next movie is not out, but like, it's pretty fucking heavily hinted at. Like, Miguel's theory is just straight up wrong. Like, there's literal rules and stuff that he says.
I mean, literally, in the even in Across the Spider-Verse, we're getting teases to Beyond. If you press pause on one of them, you quite literally can see several spider variants on the ground, like completely beat up, or maybe even dead, depending on how Beyond the Spider-Verse goes. Like, quite literally, we are seeing that Miguel's ideas are already going to be catastrophic. We're already getting teases to that for the next movie.
I think you might be making the point I've seen some say that this movie's propping up Miles because he's the first one that challenged Miguel in the canon. We don't know that.
Yeah, we have no clue if anybody else did.
We know. I mean, well, actually, no. We do know Spectacular did, because he straight up said we know it's hard. So he did challenge it initially, and some people could have gotten kicked off. Hobie has challenged it. He challenged it from the very beginning.
Oh, Gwen also challenged it.
Yeah.
And there's people at the end of the movie that are like joining Miles.
Yeah, they're not just propping him up.
Also, literally, I mean, not to mention too, as much as there's several spider variants, there also could be several spider variants that also never joined, because Miguel could have said, "That's how the canon events work. What do you think?" And they could have said, "That's stupid. Fuck off."
Yeah.
Man, if you like this, then fine, more power to you. But personally, I don't appreciate a Spider-Man that thinks and acts a certain way. If you like this, then fine, more power to you. But personally, I don't appreciate a Spider-Man that thinks and acts a certain way, simply because that's just what Spider-Men do. I prefer a Spider-Man who has free will, and is constantly tempted to abuse his power, to give up, or to do the wrong thing. But he rejects the evil temptations of life, because he learned the hard way that every wrong action
What the fuck are you talking about? When has this happened so frequently?
When has Spider-Man's issue ever been that he's tempted by evil? That's never been the struggle.
That just doesn't really happen.
He's tempted
That's
by
literally like,
evil.
it's like a symbiote. It's literally like the symbiote arc on like the '90s show, and like fucking like tempted by power. Like what the fuck are you talking about?
It's literally the whole point of his character is that he like gives up his life for that responsibility. It's actually like the complete opposite.
He's literally all over the place in this fucking video, dude. He doesn't know it. Like, okay.
Also, literally,
No, it is literally literally the opposite because Peter is struggling because he wants a normal life, but he has this responsibility and power to do something good.
Yeah.
Well, not to mention too, he brings that up. It's like okay, but like that I'm going back to the comics for this one. That happened like one issue before, like one issue where he was like sick or something, and he needs to get Gwen a birthday present, and so he literally falls into the temptation of just using his power to break into a vault to steal jewelry. But then he's like, wait, what am I doing? I can't do this. This isn't right. And he puts it back. That's like one issue, and then it never gets brought up again. Like there isn't that whole like power struggle. It happens like one issue, and it's only like a couple pages. Like he's trying to make it seem like it's a whole ass thing about his character, but it's like no. Even in the comics, it's like one issue.
Man.
Or inaction comes with a heavy consequence. There is only one unique and profound Spider-Man, and that is the way it always should have been. All the others are better off being non-canon what-if stories. And if
they literally are.
I mean, they kind of are.
Most of the comics literally are. I mean, like the alternate people in the comics literally are non-canon. Like what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, they're literally not canon to the universe. Like exist in their own universes. Like they don't say that, oh yeah, Spider-Man Noir did exist in the 1930s and predated Peter. You know, there's just another Peter.
Yeah.
It's like, no, they're all in their own separate universes where their own stories played out. That's the.
I also don't understand like them. He also touched like he says the shit about like them working together. It's like they shouldn't be there. It should be all separate, non-canon. Okay, why? The only argument he's ever made in this video is that it goes against or it dilutes the with great power from great responsibility thing. But like, no, if they're all teaming up to stop some massive threat, that literally inherently is with great power comes great responsibilities.
Yeah,
there's multiple people.
Yeah, if they didn't team up and work together, that quite literally would just be them saying, oh, we could work together and even make sure that we could blend our ideas and have more power to ensure this big bad could could get defeated. But nah, we're just gonna not do that, which could also lose more lives.
Well, if anything, it's less responsible to not get help for certain things.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you're not help, then you run the risk of potentially like, what if you get defeated? What if you get killed? And
like, yeah, like what if Thanos was attacking Central Park? Is Peter supposed to just fucking run up and fight Thanos, or should he go and try to get help?
Thanos attacked the White House.
I mean, literally, like, what is Spider-Man just supposed to see that big ring in the sky and be like, fuck it, they'll handle it.
Like deadass.
I mean, he literally says you can't be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man if there's no neighborhood.
You can't be a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man if you're fucking dead.
Yeah, literally. I'll get him next time, he says from his skeleton.
And if that were the case with these films, then there would really be no problem with them. But unfortunately, Marvel can't help itself, and feels the need to inject multiverse, Spider-Verse nonsense.
What's so bad about Toby, Andrew, and Tom meeting? Like, why is that bad?
where you paused it. But yeah, that's the thing is that even okay, we disagree on the quality of the movie, me and SK, but it's like, but yeah, what is inherently wrong with the idea of adapting Spider-Verse with all 3 live-action Spider-Man? Like, that's not really a problem.
That's cool.
I mean, yeah, it's a great idea.
Your boy looks good.
And I mean, and not to mention too, I think it worked, and for a lot of people, it did work for them. I mean, even also too, even in this movie, we get a lot of talk of responsibility and the idea of how this struggle is together. I mean, literally in the scene when they first meet, you know, the MCU people is like, you know, before she died, you know, she told me with great power comes great responsibility. Wait, how do you know that? You know, Uncle Ben said it the day he died. Like, they literally show how their lives are so similar, even when they are different. Because he brings up Aunt May, Toby brings up Uncle Ben, and then Andrew brings up Gwen. Like, even though it's similar, they all are facing a different tragedy.
Yeah.
All right.
Sense into every form of media they control. Now, while this is meant to be a Miles-centric video, there are a few remarks to be made about problems with how Peter Parker is being handled on the rare occasion that Miles isn't around. The 2 main issues with him are his humor and his competence. These issues mainly stem from the MCU, but have also bled into the comics and games as well. The oversaturated, world-breaking, quippy-style humor that was made famous by the MCU is getting increasingly horrendous, and that's a well-stated issue.
I mean, the humor's not even a thing I really care that much about. I think in terms of humor, Raimi and Spider-Verse generally do it best in the movies. I think Spectacular and the 90s series did the humor best in the shows. For the games, I mean, I'm less experienced in the games, but I think Insomniac has done a decent job. I don't know, like, what's the problem with the humor? I'd like to...
Well, I don't even like the whole blanketed, like, a lot of this MCU humor. Like, okay, what even is MCU humor?
Yeah.
I've never, like, the only argument I've heard is they're all just the same personality, and, like, sure, sometimes you could say that, but, like, if a lot of characters are quippy and they're different personality, like, you know, character writing-wise, the fuck is the problem if they're quippy?
Also, he brings up the whole MCU humor thing. My guy, MCU humor, the MCU didn't create jokes. Like, Spider-Man has always been quippy since his first appearance. I mean, he's always been has always been very talkative when he fights. I mean, in many ways, he is the OG quippy character before Deadpool and before the MCU. If anything, it fits for Spider-Man because literally he is the OG, the progenesis of the quip.
Yeah, pretty much.
However, Spider-Man is well known for being a funny character, and comedy has always been a big part of his personality. The problem comes with the execution.
This is just a general thing. There's not even that many Spider-Man adaptations, or even in the comics, where it's like genuinely funny most of the time. Like most of the time, I would honestly say like some of the corny jokes that Peter will say. I feel like it's purposeful. Like some of the jokes he'll say, like they're intentionally not very good jokes. That's kind of where I think some of the humor with Spider-Man comes from. It's just like it's so stupid that you laugh at it. But like in general, outside of like Spectacular, 90s, and parts of Insomniac, I've never really laughed too much like when consuming Spider-Man media.
I mean, I kind of disagree. I have laughed a lot, like at quite a few Spider-Man media. I think he's had some good jokes, but I do agree in the fact that I think that there are some jokes that I think are purposely meant to be bad, like both not only to be like, oh Peter, you're so corny, but also to, I think part of it is also to piss off his enemies, because again, like quite literally, we've seen in the comics, movies, and video games that sometimes his quips get under the nerves of his enemies.
Escalation in force.
Yeah, the escalation
more personal.
I mean, literally, I mean, more pissed off, and then they're like, oh, don't you ever shut up, kind of deal. And it's like, whoa.
Yeah, that is a couple people in my chat are saying it. Another good point, like comedy is subjective, like whether you find something funny or not.
Yeah.
That's also the thing. that's also another thing, is comedy is very subjective. So just because these quips won't work for him does not mean that somebody isn't like dying of laughter, you know?
Yeah. I mean, my theater died laughing at Spider-Man 3. Like, they love the jokes there.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that, you know, as much as he's not as quippy as like Andrew or other versions, like Toby still has some good lines, you know, that are still pretty funny, you know.
Here's your change.
Very few.
We'll keep playing.
This humor tend to fall into two categories. The first being the LOL so random Deadpool style humor.
Oh god.
You'll be letting Luke
Or
down.
Ultimate Spider-Man is
What's he ever
terrible.
done except be there for you?
Ooh, he makes a good point.
Selecting a bagel? Act super normal.
I was at a fourth wall break, though. This is just him just commenting on the situation.
This is great. I like this his character a lot because in this scene it's literally just showing him going through the motions again because he's done this so fucking much throughout his life. He's just like,
this scene in Spider-Verse is funny. I like this.
Also too, like people have all. I mean, also too, dude. You're preaching to the choir. Most people hate Ultimate Spider-Man, so you know this really does feel like okay, like.
Hold on. Thank you for the $5, Jacob. These brain dead morons don't understand this character. His challenge in life is living up to with great power comes great responsibility. Well, that's one of his challenges. He's got other pieces of internal conflict that he also, you know. But yeah, with great power comes great responsibility thing is pretty core to the character and what he struggles with a lot.
Yeah.
Spider-Man?
You know, that's funny. I get that a lot.
Hey. Which, obviously, that's Deadpool's thing. Let's let that stay with Deadpool. The other type is the awkward high school whoopsie doodle type of humor.
Okay, fine. This is
This reminds me of the if you like Deadpool, you can't say She-Hulk is unfunny.
Oh yeah, that does remind me of that. Oh man.
Like shut the fuck up.
I mean, the thing I would say about that is more just if you're gonna criticize the fourth wall like break kind of deal, not like the quality of the joke, but just like the fourth wall thing. It's like, I mean, she started it before Deadpool and 2. It's like, I mean,
it's not even the fourth wall break being inherently good or bad. It's how you execute it and if someone finds it funny or not.
Yeah, I mean, I found the show funny. I mean, I liked it. You know, not perfect, but you know, I enjoyed it.
It's just because you're an MCU shill, bro.
Shut the
YouTuber.
Okay.
Of humor that is best associated with Tom Holland humor that is best associated with Tom Holland's portrayal.
I mean, I have been talking to you.
So then he shows an example from Insomniac for some reason. But okay.
Yeah,
that's Tom. That's Tom. There he is.
Oh.
Yeah, he is Tom Holland.
All the time. It's great.
Also, too, like Spider-Man's always been pretty awkward too, like in the way he is.
I love Miles's face in this scene, dude. He's like, "What the fuck are you talking about, man?"
Yeah, what are you talking about, bro?
I love how he's showing his face. That's great in the public.
Oh my God, shut up. That's such a fat criticism.
Dude, I honestly hate it when Miles does it the most because, dude, you could go invisible. You have no excuse.
It's so stupid. Like, who fucking cares, dude?
I kind of do.
I think anyone who cares about keeping a secret identity would care.
Yeah,
man. All right.
I would say it is a tad bit dumb. I don't think it's like spectacular Spider-Man bad, but it is a little like, Miles, put on your fucking mask. There's
at least he didn't climb up a building without a suit on. Yeah, it's not that bad.
I mean, at least he's not climbing underneath a building and not turning invisible.
No, you don't get away with this. I can explain that very easily. Sir, I can destroy this very easily with one scene. And it's the fact that he literally senses people before they see him. So that means before they see him.
Your evidence. No. Your evidence sucks there because they do see him. No, they do notice him.
They actually don't.
Yeah, they do. Yes, they do.
And the point is that he senses it.
Yeah, and he's too late because he sees.
Dude, I don't care if somebody if they have their mask off for like 2 seconds in an area where it's like very
over a minute.
No, I know, I'm being hyperbolic. I'm saying if they have their mask off for like a little bit in like an area where like they're very unlikely to be seen, I'm just like, dude, I don't care.
This
Whatever.
is the middle of a fucking neighborhood right here. I don't know.
Dude, he's in a driveway. Like, what
Yes,
the fuck are you talking
yes,
about?
an open driveway where anyone can walk around. Yes.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Have you
If
walked
someone walks
outside?
around,
Have you
I'm
ever
sure
seen
he
a
could
driveway
see
when
it.
you walk around?
Okay, dude. No.
Colin, do you not realize that some people can look out their windows just to look
Yeah,
at the
that
neighborhood
too.
and
Dude,
then
if
be
they
like,
look out their window, they're not gonna see his face clearly.
Why would you? Well, okay, so Miles' whole thing is, I'm gonna unmask myself here. Maybe they won't see my face. Well, maybe it's bad quality, but that's fine.
Okay.
So that's not
okay,
no one who cares about their identity would think like
I
that.
don't care. I don't care.
But yeah, Stir, you're wrong. About Spider-Man.
I'm not wrong.
As
It's
usual.
not wrong. No, it's not. It's not.
You are incorrect
It's an
about the movie.
Why does
as
he
yet.
need to? It's just an unnecessary risk.
He can
It
turn
is, and
invisible
also-
right away.
I think you're both fat. How about that? Let's continue.
I mean, I'm pulling up the movie right now. If you would.
Oh my.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. It's great. It's great. No. No,
Yeah,
please. No, please.
Many
we're almost
good
done.
talks. So many good talks.
How do those even correlate? What
So
the
what's
fuck?
the? I want to go to the Insomniac one. So the complaint in question is that he's stuttering over his words and doesn't know what to say. So that's just that. That's not a Peter thing. That's a human being thing. Oh, I don't know how to explain something, so I'm stuttering through my words. That's a human being thing, and like that's why it's funny. Like the fact is that he intuits what he's going to say. He's like, yeah, I get it. Like, what's the problem here? Is the complaint that he's not allowed? Is the complaint that he's never allowed to stumble through his words ever?
I don't even. Well, he's trying to correlate it to the Tom Holland thing. I don't. What is? First of all, what's
How is that
unfunny about the Tom Holland? I don't even see the correlation. And the other thing is, how is this? How is the Tom Holland thing unfunny? Like the whole voice thing.
Also, too,
I just don't
thought that was pretty funny.
Also, too, like it's completely different versus like the Insomniac one, because Insomniac is far different. Because with an MCU, he's like the comedy comes from the fact that he's still like trying to prove himself and is thinking like, oh, I finally got this blockage thing with his suit finally unlocked, and showing that, oh yeah, I can show Tony that I'm totally an adult. I don't need training wheels, and yet he's screwing up with the whole like voice thing, clearly showing that he's not quite ready yet, and most of the humor comes from the fact that he's not ready.
Yeah, and also he's not able to communicate what he wants very clearly. I mean, there's a similar thing in Spectacular that I find really funny, where he's like, "Watch
We
your
could give all
mouth,
the
there I
examples
told
we
you,
want.
Python."
We give all the examples we want.
I burned my tongue, okay?
Keep it play.
Stutter and struggle with most social situations. This type of humor can be cute at times, but will more often come off as annoying, overdone, and adding to Spider-Man's incompetence.
Wait, how does that make him incompetent? That he has struggles in social situations. How is that incompetent?
I don't know. He doesn't elaborate, so we don't need to elaborate.
As stated
Just continue,
earlier,
bro.
incompetence is the other main issue that plagues this character in the modern era. More often than not, Peter Parker is portrayed as a buffoon who struggles to overcome most obstacles set before him.
Yeah, you know what? I'll agree with this. I don't like this right
No!
now.
Well, he's still making a grand point. It's like, okay,
A grand
you gave
Paulson
one.
point?
Okay. Let's do this, right? Let's say I agree with like, oh, Peter's just an incompetent weasel the entirety of Spider-Man 2 and the MCU. Okay, so what's that, 4 Spider-Man projects? Okay, cool.
No.
What you don't have a point.
Also, too, Spider-Man has screwed up multiple times. I mean, literally, there are several issues where all of a sudden he's like, oh man, my suit's ruined, kind of deal, or it's like, haha, payday for that. What? It didn't, the shutter didn't go
Peter, like, literally, Peter will lose to villains he's already fought before in the past, like, in the comics and shit, too. It's like, it's not fucking incompetence.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, he's even made mistakes, like, with the whole camera. It's like, I didn't take off the lens cap. Oh man, I'm not gonna get any money.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like this guy is saying that the MCU version is incompetent, which I actually do agree with, but he's not giving a whole lot of like reasoning.
No
He's not
substance.
explaining it. Yeah, he's just saying, "Oh, he's incompetent." But like, why? Why?
And also too, it's like I disagree on the whole thing, but also too, it's like we're also see that yes, his incompetence or incompetence in quotes is him being young still. Like he's still a teenager. Because even if he's going to try to say that the comic version was a teenager, here's the thing. A teenager from the 60s is completely different from a teenager nowadays. There's a good chance that a 60s teenager could act like the way Peter did versus, say, a modern day teenager would act like MCU Spider-Man kind of deal. So it's not even really, I would say, incompetence. It's sometimes just being young. And even when he has stupid moments, again, he's still barely Spider-Man.
My thing with like fight scenes and like people not always doing the most logical thing all the time. The only time I'll criticize it is when it's like the most obvious shit to do.
Like Green Lucas
and you're
versus
just
the Suicide Squad.
yeah, literally. Like, okay, you're a speedster. Speed blitz them. They should be dead. Okay, Green Lantern. Oh, you can capture them all in like little rings. Okay, do that.
Doctor
you're not
Strange,
gonna,
you have
okay.
portals that you can send Peter through. Do that.
Yeah, but if you're like in the heat of battle and you're not throwing the most perfectly placed punches or doing the most effective strategy at all times or some shit, I'm not gonna criticize it because I'm like, dude, it's literally a stressful situation. People can mess up. I don't care with that kind of thing.
Also, literally,
it's only when it's like blatantly obvious, like, okay, do this.
Also, too, like, it may be different from real life, but it's one of those things where just imagine we already do it here, imagine being in a real life scenario. So we can all relate, right, to the fact that we've all played a video game and we're given an ability that could greatly help us, but we always just keep using sometimes the same two things or forget.
I know what you're talking about.
Or it's like, oh, damn it, I forgot I even had that ability. I used it back then.
I don't know about video games because we don't take video games as seriously. What I would say is that video games are well, hold up, I'm leaning into something.
Okay.
I do think video games are like a decent comparison for supervillains because they literally see it as games to them.
I see the point he's getting at. It's like if you're playing a game and you're like, you're going through. I was literally just experiencing this with like Stellar Blade, for example. So when you're like going through and like the more you upgrade your character, you'll get more abilities and stuff. You're gonna have to ease your way into using those abilities effectively in combat, most of the time you're going to be like, using what you're normal with and used to because that's just how you've been operating for so long. It takes time to like ease into using like new abilities and stuff that you don't have much experience with. That's why Peter is not very good at being Spider-Man just off rip. Like in terms of like fighting, because he's just new to this, and that goes for like MMA fighters. Let's say you're learning a new fight. Yeah, John Jones, bro. That's perfect example because he's not gonna be running in this situation. But like let's say an MMA fighter has like he knows 10 MMA different fighting styles. But like before his next fight, he masters or maybe not masters. He starts learning a new fighting style, like let's say it's jujitsu, and then when it's in the heat of the moment. After that. Well, it's like no, this is a good comparison is like Conor McGregor versus Khabib, like their last fight with each other. Conor was like heavily focused on wrestling and stuff and but like a lot of those things in the heat of the moment, like stuff that you learned or just are getting acquitted to, some of it can just like you can be so overwhelmed with like the stakes and the nerves of the situation that you'll like kind of freeze up at points and not be the most logical person, which is why I'm not the most critical of like illogical things in fight scenes, again, unless it's like the most obvious shit to do.
Yeah. Well, but as I was saying with the video games thing, it's like, because my point is like, if we do that with games, can you imagine if you were put in a real life scenario where there's far higher stakes in a video game where it's like, damn it, I gotta do the level, whereas a real life situation, it's like, I'm gonna fucking die. I am very stressed.
Exactly, yeah.
Then literally, I'd imagine you could probably think to yourself after a battle, you could think, oh god, I had a bunch of stuff that I could have just used. I've completely forgot I even had that.
Yeah.
Alright.
Play.
Comes in many different forms, from the Avengers, to other Spider people, to friends, to love interests, to even Aunt May of all people. Spider-Man can't seem to get anything done on his own these days,
So the
fuck?
complaint is that he gets help from people, which is like, that is like one of the most egotistical things, or egotistical reads of Spider-Man, where he shouldn't have to get help from anyone. I think that's a very
literally
narrow-minded and egotistical.
Literally,
read of him.
Spider-Man PS4. It's so good because they do it so well. They portray it as a bad thing, him wanting to work by himself, and
Yeah.
him growing to accept help when he needs it.
Also, isn't
Like
that like
that's a good character flaw to have and to grow from. You shouldn't be treating that as a good thing. It's
Yeah.
like if you're so well, it's like let's do this as an example, right? It's like let's say you're dead broke, right? And someone offers you $1 million just for free, just fine, and you're just like, nah, I'm not gonna take that, but I'd rather earn it. It's like, what are you, fucking stupid? Take the fucking money.
Yeah.
That's literally Walter White in Breaking Bad. Like, he had a chance for a lot of money to help him that could have potentially also helped his cancer and his daughter later, but he didn't because of pride and ego, because he didn't want to work with two former friends who are now more successful than him. Like, that's literally pride and ego, and even was given an opportunity and an out for it, but then no, what does he do? Fuck you. It's like, dude, like, right,
Yeah,
I
like
mean,
that's a good character flaw to have a character grow from.
yeah, I mean, like, literally,
Or if it's a villain that has that kind of flaw, then it's still good to not grow from it and like die or lose tragically and not change tragically. Like that's good writing. I don't see how that's bad.
Yeah.
I mean, also, go ahead.
Oh yeah, all I was gonna say is on top of that, like, so he's saying that Spider-Man has changed, but and he uses the Raimi movies as a point of comparison, but literally in those movies, the random civilians, they help him out at the end of the first movie. In the second movie, Aunt May helps him hits Otto in the face with the cane so he doesn't get stabbed. Like, this is a thing that's like part of media in general. It's not just a new thing.
Guys, Spider-Man 2 is bad because Aunt May had to help him with Doc Ock.
Yeah. Into the Spider-Verse is bad because Aunt May had to help the Spider people against Tombstone.
Well, I mean, literally in Spider-Man 3, we see him get help from Harry, and we even, he even says, could have been a lot more sooner,
Everyone needs
Infinity
help
War
sometimes,
bad
even
because
Spider-Man.
Infinity War is bad because he can't take on Thanos alone.
Yeah, why couldn't Iron Man just solo Thanos with an eyeball shot?
Well,
why
even with this Rhino example, it's like, okay, Peter's trying to, not only mitigate civilian casualties, but he's fucking like trying to get in close with fucking Rhino because he kind of has to because of all the damage he's causing.
Yeah, I don't think you understand. Rhino may be an idiot, but he's not easy to deal with. He is super hard to keep in control and contain.
He's literally
the Rhino. He's literally the fucking Rhino. Like, I don't.
Too, like, even if you're gonna try to make the argument of like, well, he's defeated Rhino in the past, why isn't he defeating him now? It's like
Different scenarios.
But here's the thing: is that you can be put in a scenario that's completely different, or maybe even makes it worse for you the second time around. Or
that actually happens. Like, again, UFC, for example. Like, people will lose to people that they've beaten before. It's not an unlogical thing. It happens. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah. I mean, it happens.
Unless again, it's like you should win this. Unless it's something like that.
Yeah, unless it's like one of those things where, yeah, as you said, it's like you realize you could have won this very easily and you were just an idiot.
Mm-hmm. It's like if we were going through not even really going through it, just watching clips of like My Adventures with Superman, the animated show, and like he was fighting this robot and like he gets his ass kicked, and then at the end of the fight he just lasers the robot. It's like, you couldn't have done that earlier. Why?
I hate you.
What?
You don't get the reference? You couldn't have done that earlier? I hate you.
I hate you. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
The way his humor is characterized
By the way,
heavily
we're getting a
feeds
second
into.
season of My Adventures with Superman. Yay!
I still haven't seen that show. I gotta see that show.
No, you don't.
I
don't think you do.
I don't think you do. That sounds like a League Entertainment thing to say.
Dude, they got Jerry from Rick and Morty to voice Deathstroke. That shit's fucking no. It's just, you don't do that.
I think he does a good job. I mean, it's actually it's different, but it's actually really good. I really like the show. The last two, but it's actually pretty great. I mean, great animation and a lot of fun fight scenes.
Yeah, I love the part in that show where
I'm sensing a goodbye.
I love the part in that show where Superman's fighting a fifth dimensional being and he stops to talk to Lois for like a minute while he's fucking wreaking havoc on this government facility.
I saw that clip from Comic Legend and I was like, yeah, okay, I guess it doesn't look too great there. I don't know.
People, to friends, to love interests, the way his humor is characterized heavily feeds into this, as a character that is portrayed as cartoony or awkward will inevitably carry these traits over to their actions. The old school Spider-Man was much more of a savage in the truest sense of the word. He used to roast the hell out of anyone that crossed his path, to the point where he would often come off as a jerk. Good guys, bad guys, didn't matter who they were. Spider-Man would cut down everybody with his words. Like Iceman and Beast once kindly asked them to join their team, but he tells them off and compares their recruitment to Rush Week. Then he insults their intelligence when they're surprised by his response. Then he exits with the quote, "Pardon my back, I'm late to the Tarantula convention," which is just an immaculate parting speech. But this isn't just comedy for the sake of comedy. The reason why he's rude as hell is because he uses this alter ego to hide the true personality of Peter Parker, and to keep his true motives hidden.
No, that's actually not true. That's actually not true. And the reason that's not true is because in his personal life as Peter, he still behaves like a hothead. He literally does this with Flash. So it's not a whole separate the two thing like he's implying.
I want to
even further
that he grows from this. I want to point out that he grows from this.
Yeah, I was gonna point that out in a moment. Like he literally grows from this. This is a thing that they recognize as this is something he needs to work on. So how is that like a whole keeping an identity thing? No, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, also too, it's also you got to remember Peter is still a teenager at this point, and he's still like the teenager that was a social outcast, and they do treat it as a character flaw. As Colin mentioned, he grows out of this later in the comics. I mean, so again, it's like that whole thing, like. What? Like, that's not a...
I don't even... Well, even at this point in the comics, he still worked with people before. It's not like he's not, like, joining a team or whatever, but he still has worked with people, so I don't know why he's using this as an example. It's a terrible example. It doesn't prove anything.
I mean, literally, during the era, he teamed up with Daredevil. I mean, like,
yeah,
what?
He literally teamed with him. This is weird.
J.J. Jameson, and told these two off because he was in a hurry, later revealing that he was actually interested in their offer, but seemed fated to be alone. Unlike more modern interpretations of the character that barely hide Peter's identity at all, old school.
Dude, his identity's already revealed. Why would he hide his identity at Feast? It's already revealed.
He was in a hurry, later revealing that he
of like bad covering
was actually
up, like, against Spectacular, you know,
Spectacular, TASM, like the two MCU ones beforehand.
Like, yeah, that's a terrible example because his identity was already public, and that's also part of the theme of the movie is he's trying to get rid of his public identity, and they do it at the end of the movie.
interested in their offer, but seemed fated to be alone, unlike more modern interpretations of the character that barely hide.
Like, at least show him, like, I don't know, in the bar when he's just unmasked in the Night Monkey suit. At least show that. But even then, I feel like this is still a problem with some classic versions anyway. This is a pinprick because this doesn't happen often, but it's still a problem. But in the 90s series during the symbiote arc, when he's testing around like the suits that he can wear, he stands on the side of a building in this public area in broad daylight, like at his university, and he's standing on the side testing this out without a mask on.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
You could point that out. You could point that out in Spectacular. I mean, all the times he climbs up a building without a suit on, jumps high heights without a suit on. Like, it's so ridiculous in that show. But yeah, it's so weird to fixate on the new stuff. It's like, I feel like this has been a problem for a while. TASM has this a lot.
Also, too, like, literally, and people will definitely give me some shit for this, but it's like, there's one thing that MCU Peter did better. They acknowledged the whole, like, oh, so that's why you can't play football. Yeah. In Spectacular, he literally does it and risks his identity. It's like, no.
That's not a problem in the show, I'm sorry.
Why is it
That's
not
a separate...
problem? Goodbye.
That's a separate argument, bro.
Well, to be fair, I did rewatch
argument.
the episode like a few days ago, and I did think of a decent like devil's advocate for it.
I think there's a very obvious thing, but we can. Let's just finish this video, dude.
All right.
To hide Peter's identity at all, old school Spidey put a lot of work into masking his presence, including the way he spoke to others, which was both clever and entertaining to read. His cutthroat roasting skills were also great at getting under the skins of his enemies and causing them to make mistakes out of losing their tempers. He could outmatch them both physically and.
It's almost like that happened in like almost every Spider-Man adaptation.
No, this
even
is
the bad ones.
This right here is literally what Insomniac did, but instead of Rhino, it's Doc Ock.
Also, he's trying
He
to
literally
say,
does it to Shocker in the fucking bank fight.
also too, like he's trying to make it seem like that. Oh, he has two distinct personalities for Spider-Man and Peter. It's like he's not Batman. Like he doesn't change his voice really. And,
Well, no, I think it changes the voice. I do notice
well,
a difference in performance.
Slightly a little bit, but not like to the point of like Batman kind of deal. The way
Yeah,
he
no,
does.
not like that.
And even then, like his quips are not exclusive to Spider-Man. He still sometimes quips even as Peter Parker. I mean, so it's
Yeah.
that whole like personality thing. That's not change for Spider-Man. That's just Peter.
Exactly. Yeah.
and mentally.
I wish I could think of brilliant plans
I
like
love
that.
this one.
And with his spider sense, that seems to be an increasingly forgotten power these days. Spider-Man has the ability to sense danger prematurely and dodge it before it.
What do you mean these days? In that same movie, he goes to the burning building to fight Goblin. Well, he doesn't know it's Goblin there, and his senses don't warn him for some reason. That's not like, I mean, I'm pretty sure even in comics you can spot inconsistencies in spider sense. This has been a thing for like decades. I don't know what he's talking about.
Also, too, like, yes, they didn't exactly acknowledge it as much, but it's one of those things where it's still there. Like Civil War, oh god, like he senses that thing before it even comes at him. Homecoming, you could argue that there's quite a few spider senses. They just don't draw to it. In Infinity War, his hair, I mean, he literally showed it. I mean, Infinity War, he literally feels a spider sense. They confirmed his spider sense is why he was saying, Mr. Stark, I don't feel so good. It was because his spider sense was going haywire, which also happens.
All right. Well, there's a couple people that have DM'd me about. I think they have disagreements, but does anybody in the chat have any disagreements? Like, do they disagree with, or I mean, do they agree with this video, or disagree with some things we said as a rebuttal to the video, or any of the main topics, or just anything else in general?
Yeah,
Just
anything else.
You can keep letting the video play.
It's a very unique defense system that should be very exciting to watch play out in a fight, if it weren't for the fact that this power gets ignored so much that people will
Fair for
often
that
debate
one.
if he even has the power at all.
I don't agree with the Ant-Man example. And the reason for that is he already sees that Ant-Man is there. He already knows he's there. So why would it warn him?
Also, too, he was distracted for like 1 second, and that 1 second was enough for Giant Man to slap him in the face.
Yeah.
All in certain movies. Spider-Man should be nearly untouchable with this power. And this
I don't agree.
No.
That's not even how it works. That's not how it works.
I mean, because quite literally in the comics, there's several times where he senses something, but it's like, where is it? And then he gets hit. That doesn't, it's not like literal precognition. It just alerts him to what's going to happen or danger. And sometimes he can tell where it is, sometimes he can't. But there's literally several moments in a lot of the comics and even adaptations where he's like, spider sense, but where?
Well, another thing that has to like attributes to that is literally like some characters literally just blatantly scaled on him in speed. So even if his spider sense goes off, that doesn't mean he won't get hit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's fought.
Imagine him up
Quicksilver.
against Lucas.
Stellar Blade isn't as peak as you make it out to be.
Oh, okay.
Disagreements are open.
This is how he sustains his health while frequently fighting crime. Landing a hit on Spider-Man should be a big deal that doesn't occur often, and it's up
His powers are literally working.
to the villains to find a way around the spider sense if they want to beat him. When they hit him
too,
freely,
don't they literally say that Venom nullifies his
Well, that's what.
spider-
Yeah, he was saying. There's got to be like they find ways to beat him, but it's like. Okay, but the other example with the Spider-Man too, it's like his powers are literally like failing him. The fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, he's going through a block.
freely without much. It's up to the villains to find a way around the spider sense if they want to beat him. When they hit him freely without much effort,
Most of the villains
then them
don't
winning
even
the fight doesn't feel earned.
Most of the villains don't even know he has fucking spider sense. I think literally the only one that does know definitively is like maybe I don't know. I don't even think Green Goblin knows. But Craven does. Craven knows. Who else? Yeah, Venom will. Yeah, obviously Venom, but Venom he's just immune to it. But like, I can't think of anyone else. It's not like they're literally making plans to get around
because
that.
he jammed his spider sense in the first Sinister Six issue.
I don't think Mysterio knows. I think he literally just does that just because that's like his gimmick. That's what he does.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure it was like, I think they said something along the lines of it was a specific frequency that jams his senses.
I have no clue.
So presumably
that honestly could have just been like convenience that happened.
I don't
But I don't
know.
know.
I'll check it another time.
I don't remember that.
They could team up on him, they could try and trick him, but instead of having that, these movies will just pummel Spider-Man relentlessly.
Sorry, what? They'll try to team up him or they'll try to trick him. This series right here, the prior movie was Far From Home, and this movie right here, this scene is from, they literally team up at the end to fight him. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, also too, like literally, they even deal with it in the second movie, as you said. I mean, with his scene where he's like, "Okay, Peter,
yeah, he uses it to overpower his illusions, but he's complaining here."
Yeah, I mean, that's even part of the arc is that they introduce it with the whole like, cause you got the whole thing, and he's like, "Yeah, I do," but it's clear he's still working with it, and that's the completion of his arc.
I want to point out that Otto's arms just blatantly scale to Peter, so him getting tagged by them is not a problem. Like, I don't see the issue here.
Just like any other superhero, and they'll leave him vulnerable to many attacks that should be beneath him. Up on him, they could try and trick him, but instead of having that, these movies will just pummel Spider-Man relentlessly, just like any other superhero, and they'll leave him vulnerable to many attacks that should be beneath him, with the stories only giving him this—
Dude, are you fucking kidding me? The banana? Like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah, who cares about the banana?
Like, Aunt May, don't you know that Aunt May has like 5,000 level damage to him?
Aunt May scales the light speed.
A lethal banana.
And yeah, it's Spider Sense, not Peter Tingle. Get it right?
Yeah, I agree. Come on, Peter Tingle. I don't like the name.
The tingling part of it is a verb, not a noun.
My spider sense is tingling.
Spider-Man used to be a capable, handsome, intelligent guy who simply had too much on his plate and could just never seem to get life to go his way whenever he—
I'd like to come on to play devil's advocate, bring to the panel. Alright, I'll add you after this, Flapperjack, because we're basically at the end.
We've got some... You know, I got people saying Stellar Blade is mid, but I'm not seeing any...
Damn.
Alright, well, let's breeze. Sorry, do you have a point?
Yeah, well, he mentions about how, Peter used to be a smart, intelligent, handsome, and it's like, did you not forget that in the earlier comics, like, part of this whole thing was that he was a social outcast because he was a nerd?
What do you...
Like, yeah, they made him more, like, handsome as time went on, but, like, it's so weird how he points that out. It's like, that wasn't even really, like, Peter's character to begin with.
Wait, but what does he mean, more handsome? Has he seen how people talk about Tom Holland? Like, what?
Yeah, like, literally, there have been so many girls that are just crazy for the man. I mean, and then especially with Zendaya, boy, they really go wild.
Yeah, what are you talking about? Is his complaint that the MCU made him ugly, or? Oh wait, no, I got it. It's the Insomniac Peter face changed. Maybe that's what he's talking about.
Maybe, but at the same time too, I really feel like he might try to go for the whole. I kind of almost wonder, is it like they made him look, more, less masculine or anything, and it's like, okay, who cares?
No, but like, where's your proof of that? Like, objectively speaking, what are you talking about? They made him less masculine.
Also, what?
Our man Peter B has a fucking beard.
I agree that Stellar Blade's story isn't that good. It's like fine. It's like decent, maybe 6 or 5. But like, it's not even a story-focused game. Like 80%, like around 80% of what you're doing is it's gameplay. It's all gameplay, for the most part.
Oh yeah, I did forget to mention. It's not even true that Peter's meant to be like this ugly, disgusting ass or whatever, because like in the early comics, like when Peter took his glasses off,
Bro,
Liz
he
started
pulled
taking
Gwen
more
Stacy. I don't wanna hear none of that. He pulled Gwen Stacy.
Liz started taking more interest in him, so like I don't know what you're on about.
Whenever he would solve one problem, 5 new ones would emerge. He had a loving uncle who died tragically, he has a loving aunt who hates his alter ego, he's constantly hounded by the school bully so he has a hard time making friends, and he refuses to confront this bully in order to avoid risking letting his identity slip. He barely has any money, and never has time for a real job, so he has to settle for a cheap job under a horrible boss. He has had opportunities for great relationships, but his superhero antics always seem to prevent—
So do you want like the same thing over and over again? This is what it sounds like to me. You want this same formula to be done over and over again, but you're complaining about things not being original.
Also, too, the part of the reason why he also sticks with the Daily Bugle is because they don't ask questions about his pose.
Yeah.
I like how he said this was supposed to be a Miles-centric video, and he's barely even talked about Miles in the fucking video. He's just crying about fucking his own misreadings of the character of Peter.
I don't get it.
Also, too, as you mentioned earlier, it's like, okay, he's trying to complain about, oh, it's just going to be the same thing over and over again, and then he's saying, why isn't it the same thing over and over again? It's like, dude, wait, what?
All right.
prevent him from getting close with anyone. It seemed like the world revolved around putting Peter Parker down, but in spite of it all, he would still push forward and do the right thing, because the last time he didn't, he lost his beloved uncle and father figure. So now, because he has the power to do what most cannot, he dedicates his life towards protecting people from feeling the same pain that his family suffered, and he struggles through tremendous amounts of adversity from almost all aspects of life in order to see his mission through. That is the character that I like, and that I would want to see more of. What we get presented with instead is an immature loser who struggles in life despite all the free handouts that he's been given, because he is simply too stupid to make rational decisions. He is the type of guy to pawn off.
So he doesn't. You need to give examples for stupid decisions before you just throw all of that. You need to prove that he's stupid to the point where.
I want to point out that the Doctor Strange thing wasn't even really Peter's fault. It was Doctor Strange's. It's like, what the fuck?
It was more Doctor Strange's. Peter still could have been like, "Yo, okay, stop, redo it, stop."
Well, he doesn't really. Yeah, but that's what he was trying to do once he figured out the whole spell.
But he doesn't. He doesn't do that. He keeps making changes despite Strange being like, "Yo, that's dangerous."
Yeah, but Strange should have still stopped. I don't.
I agree. Strange should have stopped, but I also think Peter in that situation should be like, "All right, stop, cancel it."
But also,
whatever.
I mean, in the movie, they also make sure to let people know that was a stupid thing and that this is his method.
At least they acknowledge it. That's an intentional thing.
Yeah, I mean, they literally acknowledge it. I mean, they literally acknowledge it, and not to mention too, did he just completely forget the ending where he says, "Make everybody forget about me"? Just literally sacrifices his own identity to then make sure that everybody can go home and everybody's fine. This idea that oh, he doesn't do anything like that. He, in literally the big movie, also going to inform the next film, he makes a huge sacrifice. That's a huge deal. And even then, if you're going to try to say, well, that was one movie, he technically still
does.
Did
Homecoming.
I don't even see what is the handout thing that he's been given. Okay, Tony asked him to join the Avengers. Peter doesn't join because he wants to, stay in school and shit.
You know, it's
he doesn't
funny
want to give up on anything, all of that stuff, just to become an Avenger. So he's still struggling with stuff. So I don't really see what he means.
It's funny that
how is he an immature loser? I don't get it.
It's funny that he says that. Oh well, he just gets handed everything to him. But in the next movie, that same guy, Tony, dies.
Yeah. Also, too, I mean, he literally earns his right into the Avengers because, yes, he was offered, but he turns it down and then literally shows heroism going off into space, something that he has never done and is completely out of his element, but because he wants to. Yeah, it's a one-way, they consider it a one-way trip potentially. And right at that moment, what does Tony do? Congratulations, kid, you are an Avenger. I mean, that's literally completing his arc and showing us why he is an Avenger, because he literally will give like pretty much his life to potentially save that, which I know is why Far From Home is controversial. I still hold that there's still at least some reasoning. Like, I do agree that they could have done it better, but I will also say at least there's reasons for it, unlike, say, from what I've seen of Edge of Time, Peter, where it really just seems like, no, I don't want my girlfriend to die, fuck responsibility.
No,
at least...
I'll tell you the reason. The reason is you're saying the lives of a billion strangers are more important than my loved ones.
But, like, at least with MCU Peter, at least you can say, well, again, he just went through the death of Iron Man and everything. There's other heroes that could potentially deal with it. He says, just for this moment, because he's also feeling like, that again, because Mysterio throws it back at him when he says, maybe if you were good enough, maybe Tony would be alive. He's clearly feeling worthless, or potentially like, am I good enough to be a hero? Especially since everyone keeps saying, "Are you the next Iron Man?" So
one sec.
What?
One sec. I agree that gameplay is the main focus of Stellar Blade, which I think is super smooth, but if a game has a story, I'd like it to be the highest of quality than what Stellar Blade gave. Okay, so like, that's fine, but like, if a game's story isn't really that big of a focus of the game, then like, is Mario Galaxy now not great because it's a Mario game? That doesn't really...
Bowser's character is really one-dimensional. He's not very complex.
Yeah, that fucking game sucks, dude.
Vincent, look who finally came back.
But anyway, to finish up what I was saying, so like, yeah, I can definitely see the criticism, but I can at least say that at least those that movie at least gives at least reasons. It could have been handled better, which is far better than what I've seen of Edge of Time, where it's just like,
absolutely.
No, fuck the universe, I want my girlfriend. It's like,
yeah, Edge of Time doesn't even present it as wrong. They just present it as if he's a good guy, and that's what Spider-Man should be. At least in Far From Home, they're like, no, that's not what he should be doing.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Fury, Talos Nick Fury even says, really even throws it back at him. So it's one of those things where even the movie, again, these movies are even acknowledging when Peter screws up. And that's part of his arc, is you need to learn more responsibility. Because again, he's still a...
Yeah, I'm gonna headcanon in that Nick Fury in Far From Home was actually the amazing Lucas.
Alright, keep letting the video play.
On off his duties onto younger and less experienced people, his success is dependent on the gifts and goodwill of those around him, and even while having all that, he can still barely get by. He doesn't make jokes, he is...
Oh, he can barely get by? You mean like at the end of No Way Home where he's dirt poor? Or Peter at the end of Spider-Man 2 where he's still poor? Like, what?
Yeah, I mean, also
I don't even...
Like, literally, also, he can... also, part of that is also to see him pull himself from his bootstraps. Like, that's why we love Spider-Man, because it's a character who gets beat down and then gets right the fuck back up.
Yep.
Not the same.
Even if he complains about it, I mean, that's relatable. We've all been there, where we've been in a rough situation where we complain, but then we get back from it.
Exactly.
Character that he used to be. This is the anti-Spider-Man, who throws away his old values in favor of traveling down arcs that used to be considered the wrong path. Only now these arcs are meant to be embraced.
So he's wrong for using a suit that's more powerful and would help him do his job better.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I'm like genuinely confused. Like, what does he mean? Like, a path that used to be considered the wrong choice? Like, I'm
wearing a suit?
Wearing a suit?
That's the thing, is if you're trying to sit here, if he's trying to sit here and say that the wrong path, because here's the problem too. He's trying to, I guess, combine the Civil War suit and like representing how that's the wrong path. They're two completely different, not just design, but like on the context, because one, the Iron Spider suit, it essentially means that Spider-Man is joining up with Tony Stark as like, hey, by the way, we're gonna go ahead and reveal everybody's identities, and those who don't subscribe to my ideology will go to the Phantom Zone. You know, that place where it could drive people insane and is overall very dangerous. Yeah, we're just gonna go through that. So, you know, go ahead with me, Peter. At least with Tony in this one, they make it a lot more agreeable and understandable why he wants to do what he does, because again, he's trying to say like, no, we need accountability kind of deal. We can't just be like free agents, you know, that can just cause destruction and then take no accountability when we hurt other innocent people.
I think when he doesn't elaborate, we also don't need to elaborate, because he just put a picture on a screen without fucking saying anything.
This one was too funny. I'm sorry. That one was too funny. He wears a suit, therefore he's on the wrong path.
Well, no. I know. I'm saying like I don't think we need to get too deep into it.
I don't want to keep getting into studies and stuff like that.
Exactly.
Because they produce avenues of introducing.
I'll take the Iron Spider design in MCU as fire. I don't give a shit.
Yes, correct.
Surface level cool things or agenda driven retirements. Now, this isn't.
Oh my god, dude. Yes, I love the agenda for Peter's break, man. It's such an agenda, man.
What the fuck is the agenda?
I like how it took 13 minutes for him to pull the "it's an agenda." It's like, oh my god, it always comes down to Miles Morales is an agenda. It's like, oh my god, just
dude.
The agenda of having a replacement, or not replacement, having someone take up the mantle.
The agenda of having a good.
Yeah.
Of having a partner.
Whether it's like partner or someone who's taking up his role, whoever the fuck it is, it's like, no, that's an agenda. Like, okay.
This isn't to say that Peter should never make
Riley
mistakes.
Is an agenda, I guess technically, but you know, but no doubt he would never say that about Ben.
Whatever.
He is known to make plenty, and part of his to say that Peter should never make mistakes. He is known to make plenty, and part of his appeal is watching him grow and change over time to become a better person. The difference in what I'm referring to is.
Doesn't MCU Spider-Man do that?
It literally does that, so what's his complaint?
I mean, if you want to talk about execution...
Well, hold on. He's about to talk about let him
that.
guess.
As far as the MCU goes, we've seen Spider-Man reappear in dozens of films at this point, but not only did he start out way more helpless than he should have been, he never seems to learn and keeps making the same dumb mistakes time and time again.
What are you talking about?
You need to specify. He doesn't elaborate.
Show. He says, "Let me elaborate." It doesn't elaborate.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Lastly, whatever this name is, has routinely utilized bad faith debate tactics. 95% of the time, he doesn't give you references.
But and the funny thing is, I was gonna say show don't tell, but then I was like, no wait, he's just showing and not telling.
Yeah. It's like he's not telling us much.
For the sake of comedy or cheap drama. That's not who this guy was meant to be. Peter Parker is meant to be a charming, smart, well-rounded, competent person who just so happens to have some of the worst luck imaginable. It's supposed to be believable.
So like what happens to literally every single other version.
Yeah.
That women like Mary Jane
for this well-informed discussion.
And Stacy would find him attractive, even without knowing about his powers. But nah, instead of making that work, they just make MJ either ugly or weird. So
oh my god, are you fucking serious? His point against the how Spider-Man has changed is MJ is ugly.
That's so fucking bad faith. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
What are you waffling about at that
That's
point?
not, like, there's literally nothing in the story that says that's what it is. Like, what are you fucking saying?
I know.
Also, I'm just gonna flat out say it, because of how like weird the facial animations look in Spider-Man 2. I'm just gonna say it, no one looks good in that game. They all look very off.
What?
I would disagree. I think they all look fine, at least. At minimum, they look fine. I think Peter looks good. I think Miles looks good. I think Lee looks good.
I think the facial animations are great. Like, I'm like so confused. Like, what are you talking about?
I think the only one you can really have like main questions or contentions for is MJ, because I think there might have been
her facial animations. Her facial animations aren't even bad. She's just, you know,
I meant more so in the
not
sense
very
of fitting in with like the model. That's what I meant.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. It just feels like very uncanny valley to me compared to other games. I don't know.
Yeah.
Wasn't her
like
face?
it feels unfit.
Sorry, what?
I was just gonna say, wasn't it revealed that like her face actress was like in an accident, and that's what happened to her?
Was that? I have no idea.
Yeah, I know you're talking. Yeah.
Yeah, she said that she had like some kind of surgery and something that inflamed her lower jaw during that time. But because, again, can't exactly pause for that during game development, especially since Sony wanted that shit out quick. So it's like, all right, we'll work with it. It's fine. Just who cares? So that's why she revealed that, which everyone's now trying to like make her like, oh, that they made her ugly and everything. It's just like, dude, just.
I don't even like. What is even wrong with Peter's fucking face model? It's like it doesn't look as good as the old one, but it's not a bad model.
I just think it's his hair.
He's not like he's not an ugly dude.
I just think it's his hair. Honestly, I think if he just had a...
All right.
So she can lower her standards. The other reason why this incompetent detective, even without knowing about his powers. But nah, instead of making that work, they just make MJ either ugly or weird so she can lower her standards. The other reason why this incompetence occurs is because filmmakers and storytellers are so insecure and afraid of turning the love interests into damsels in distress.
What? Wait, so he said filmmakers. So you're saying that Spider-Man 2, like both Spider-Man 2s, the game and the movie, you're saying that they're afraid to make her a damsel in distress? Even though she gets saved in both of these series many times.
Yeah, like...
She remarks on it in the first video game. And
I think I know what he's trying to get at, but he's just, again, not...
Oh no, MJ lifted an object to try to hit him and then it failed. Wow.
Well, dude, I still don't get this whole shit. It's like, dude, she literally has Sable training for weeks, and she already has MMA training, and she's already really good at sneaking around. Dude, I don't care if she can. This is annoying. This is so annoying because people are like, "Oh, MJ can do this in the Insomniac games. What the fuck? This doesn't make any sense." Why doesn't it make sense? She literally has so much fucking training, has been pre-established to be good at like sneaking around and shit. So what the fuck? Why does this not make sense?
Yeah, this is exactly what I hate. This is what I hate, real quick. What I hate is the fact that, okay, so I still have problems with the fact that MJ, with what her minimal, like, capabilities are, she's able to sneak in the fucking Sable camp in the first game. And what I like about this game, the second game, is that, they gave her the Sable training. They gave her a weapon. They gave actual, like, better justifications for how she's able to sneak in. But then people still bitch about it. They still bitch about it.
No. Well, no. Even with the Sable camp thing, right? Like, even if you have a problem with that, they already pre-established before the Sable camp that she's good at sneaking around. So it's been established, SK.
No, that doesn't work, especially with not just the Sable camp, but also with the penthouse. I'll explain to you. So, all right, you throw these tiny beepy devices, and that throws them off. They don't check where it was thrown.
Well, they can't see where it's thrown. It's invisible.
All right, we have an intruder. Like, for all they know, this could be a bomb or something. Like, they don't know when it's thrown.
Well, all they hear is beeping. They don't know exactly what that is.
Yeah, that's kind of what bombs
That could be.
And it doesn't even matter. What if it's like a device used to spy on them? What if it's
No. That could literally the beep. Okay, first of all, the beeping could literally come from just like, okay, let's say you're walking down a street in New York, right? New York's a really loud place, and they're in the middle of a fucking military thing. That could just be like tech or something that's within the camp that they fucking hear. So they're like, okay.
They know it's being thrown.
How?
It wasn't there beforehand, and they just hear some random beeping. It's like, what the hell?
Okay. So if you're walking down the street, right?
And I even think they're like, yo, come to my location.
Let's say you're security in like a factory, right? Or something. And you hear like beeping randomly, and you look over and you can't see anything. Are you gonna be like, yo, we've got an intruder, bro? There's someone here.
No, let me tell you the difference. I can see something. They acknowledge it when they look at it.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do. They walk around.
Show me that.
Oh my god.
Because it literally turns invisible, SK. It literally turns invisible when you throw it.
No, I'm pulling it.
Yes, it does. It objectively does. I can show you. You want me to I'll download this game right now and fucking pull up the save file, SK. I'll fucking do it.
Oh my god.
But can I mention something?
It doesn't even matter because the penthouse is even less justifiable because she walks to the entrance, right? She walks past the guards in front of the door. even though there's literally cameras in this area that we see Sable agents are watching. And
Wait,
then,
what are you talking about? Wait. Well, hold on. Just because they're watching the cameras doesn't mean they always have their eyes on the camera 24/7.
Yeah, you're right.
Like,
They don't have
what
their
do you think
eyes.
of the monkey from Toy Story 3?
That's literally their shift. They're in the security room
Yeah,
watching
I know,
the cameras.
but
That's
people,
what they show.
Yeah, but
the whole
you know what
point
they
of
also...
watching security cameras is to watch what
stop.
happens. That is
Yeah,
the
I
whole
agree.
point.
No, yeah, I agree. Just like a fast food worker their whole job is to make fucking burgers. But if they don't make burgers on time, that doesn't mean they're fucking.
Yeah, but
they're
typically they
that's
do.
just-
But
that's just a
typically they
normal
do.
human
But
thing.
typically they
No, no,
do. So I don't know what this point is.
At most you could. At most
That's
you could say it's a
protocol. That's
little...
standard protocol.
No, dude. They're literally egotistic. They're literally an egotistical army. They're arrogant about this kind
And
of
they
shit.
still-
So of course
and they
there's gonna
still-
be people
and they still
that aren't
focus on it.
100% on their job. No,
Not saying 100%. Not saying 100%.
dude. Literally, at the most convenient thing you could say is that they're literally just not looking at the cameras up there. That at most it's a convenience. At most.
Damn, not even that strong, because that's toppled on another convenience of, oh, she happens to get this taser. I don't know what her plan
How
is.
is that?
if she can't.
How is the taser convenient? They are literally in a security thing. So if security things have tasers, it would make sense that there would be tasers laying around. How is that convenient, SK?
No, it's one that it's lying around for her just to easily grab, and she's
Okay,
able to do
it's
it on
literally
TV.
it's in a back room. Like what the fuck?
And also, like,
is it convenient that you find frozen fries in a McDonald's back room? Is that convenient? Like what are you talking about?
No, I'm talking about the fact that she's able to sneak in, grab it, even though
Okay.
like there's I guess the guards just don't see her walking around. I guess. Okay.
No,
and
there's
then
no
she
cameras.
walks in.
There's no cameras in the back room. We don't even see cameras in the back room.
No. I'm talking about when she's initially going in. Not only are there guards in
Yeah,
front of the door.
No, there's not. No, there's
Yes,
not. No, there's not.
Yes, there are.
When you walk in, there's no guards in front of the door.
When they say, please calm down, you literally just walk around the guards while they're like...
Okay, yeah,
they
they're
walk
focused on a
outside of the
big...
door.
Yeah, they're focused on a big hoarding crowd. It's not hard to walk behind them.
Wow, so they just let their guard down in front of this huge crowd.
Oh, it's literally like...
That's so
no,
dumb.
oh my god. Okay, let's do this.
They
let's
lowered
do this.
their guard
Dude,
for
there
the
is
door
literally...
because there was crowd.
SK. There's literally like a riot going on outside. I'm not gonna get on them for fucking like letting their guard down of the door behind them for a second.
So wait, no. If there's
Especially
no,
when those
that's
guards
even
already-
worse. If there's a crowd, you want
Okay.
more security. You want it's even less reason to have your guard down.
What are you talking
And
about?
even
They literally
and even then, right? What I find even funnier about it is that so she gets through that, she goes through the security room or whatever, knocks them out, and then she walks outside of the door, and I guess the security guys that were in front of the door just disappeared. I don't know where they went.
What are you talking about?
They literally have security people in front of those doors to prevent people from getting in. Yes?
No. They walk outside. The security
Right,
people
right,
that
and
work
what do
for
you think they're doing
Shut
in front
up,
of the
shut
door?
Shut up. They walk outside, right? Actually, we can pull it up if you really want. We can pull it up.
I
That's what
don't
we
know
can
if I
do.
want to. This is fucking
We can do
Greece.
that, Pippin.
I mean, we've only got a few minutes left. So,
Okay.
We
Okay,
do
yeah.
only have a few.
Correct,
All
yeah,
I was
correct.
getting at is
All I'm gonna say is SK's fat. That's all I'll say.
Well, one, Colin is fat, and two, all I was saying was that it's annoying how the first game had this problem, the second game fixes it, and people still complain. So I don't know.
Well, my thing is that with Mary Jane, like everyone, constantly, she's supposed to be a damsel in distress. She's now a girl boss or anything. It's like if Mary Jane, after dating Spider-Man, doesn't take any self-defense classes, doesn't do anything to potentially help herself, I'm sorry, but that really is a bad character because it's like she's an idiot because it's like Peter is not always going to be there to help her. She needs to at least have something. And you'd also think that Peter would also tell her like, okay, here's how to throw a punch in case of like I'm not there or if I'm late kind of deal, like to do something. Like, again.
Well, it's funny because they also have this in the 90s series where she literally says like, yeah, I've been learning martial arts or something, or was it kickboxing? I can't remember.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, dude.
And she fights
It's
back
like,
against the gang in the
you don't
first
even
Spider-Man movie.
You don't even need to go to a professional gym or even go to Sable training to like practice martial arts. So it's like she could do that in her free time either way.
Yeah,
That's true.
I mean,
that's true.
I'm sorry, but like
You can play a lot of Splinter Cell or
I'm
Arkham.
kind of glad that the damsel in distress thing has lowered, because I'm sorry, most of those characters are not very interesting or very well written. They're just shallow characters for the characters to ultimately save. If they're getting a lot more, then yeah, it makes it easier. In some cases, they literally just feel like, well, you know, it's a pretty girl, you know, that's enough for all we need to do to save her. But it's like, but maybe I need a little bit more. Is she funny? Is she cool? You know, does she have a great personality? Because then I want to save her.
They don't even treat MJ like a damsel in distress in the comics, like 616, really, or even Ultimate. They really don't. Like, there's very few times where she's generally in danger and Peter has to like help her.
Like they already.
And I remember. Well, hold on. I remember one of those times MJ's in danger and Peter gets fucking character assassinated. Wasn't that a great story? And he killed Venom, man. That was great.
Killed Venom, and they character assassinated Venom too.
Yeah, they did. It's a double entendre.
Oh yeah,
but yeah,
that shit out like candy.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, even in the comics, in 616, they showed that she was already had a strong personality as is, like, which separated her from Gwen Stacy. So again, like, even the idea that,
whoa, Warbitten. Hold on. Comic MJ is the girl boss queen. See, she acts like that, but that's not her. That's just the front that she puts up.
Whoa, Pippin? What do you say, Pippin?
Also,
yeah, what are you saying, Pippin?
Also, it's hilarious to see these people like really like get fucking pissy about the whole like she's a girl boss and everything, and this is just the agenda. It's like, did you all just forget that MJ is canonically a feminist in the comics? Like,
oh, that's gonna piss them off then.
Yeah, like, I mean, literally, they would get pissed off. I mean, there's an issue of Spider-Man.
Was she born in the headquarters of Sweet Baby Inc. too?
I mean, she literally attends a women's rights protest with Aunt May. Like, literally, there is an issue where she canonically goes to a women's rights parade with Aunt May. So again, it's like, if they did that now, oh man, can you imagine the amount of people, that this is just clear, a feminist agenda that's trying to take over, media, and showing how the woke agenda is just trying to ruin all of our hobbies.
Well, see, here's the thing. Your first mistake was assuming Spider-Man fans actually read their comics. So that was your first mistake.
Destroy asks, if you don't mind asking, this is to SK and Cinema Seeker and everyone. Do you guys think it would have been better than what happened in No Way Home if in Far From Home Nick Fury delivered the great power line without the context of him being Talos? Act like it's the real Fury for this? I don't really, no, not really.
Honestly, I don't know. I'm much happier with Aunt May. I think that message, this is just a personal thing, I think that message should always be like from either Aunt May or Uncle Ben. Honestly.
And I think Nick Fury is very like morally questionable. And like,
why is that, SK? Because the color of his skin.
Oh my god.
Well, like, that's what the MCU has been doing with him, right? He's been more in the morally gray area. He's been more questionable. So I don't know about him delivering the line, if it would be appropriate for his character.
Given the fact that it's a stupid-ass decision, I've elected to ignore it.
Well, given the fact that it's a stupid-ass gameplay mechanic, I've elected to ignore it.
That's literally the stealth in the fucking Spider-Man games.
But yeah, I know. I firmly believe that it would not have hit the same if it was not somebody who's not only close to Spider-Man but also not family. Like, I much preferred if just a family member like Aunt May or Uncle Ben, because even if it was somebody like Tony, I would not have liked that if he gave the responsibility speech, even though they're close in MCU. I just feel like it's far more satisfying when it's from a family member.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, hold on. Before we move on through this video, I see he's pulling up this clip of Brian Intihar when he's gonna show her like, oh, she's overpowered. I don't care. Whatever.
He takes us out of context.
Okay. Not only that, but I don't even think the context really does anything. It's just very clearly a joke. It's like, if you look at Brian Intihar's interview, whenever they like ask him about stuff, there's points where he'll be serious, but like there's very obviously points where he's just joking.
Yeah, he does that a lot.
Yeah,
that's the thing, because what I mean by out of context is that he's framing it as this is a serious statement from him and not just a very obvious exaggeration.
This is one of the things that Brian Intihar is actually like said before in interviews is like, all right, I gotta kind of be careful. Like sometimes he'll be like, I remember I forget what specifically one interview, but he was like, I gotta say this carefully so people don't get mad.
Honestly, Brian Inhar's a great speaker. He's a funny guy.
I mean, that's the problem.
Well, no, he's a no. Like, don't you know he's not a good creative developer because he likes Killmonger as a villain.
Oh, that sounds like a League Entertainment quote.
Would you know? How'd you guess that, man? How'd you guess that?
But yeah, I mean, I think that's just the problem with right now, the culture right now that's going on is that there's such a, it isn't even just the anti-woke culture shit, like it's all just like unfortunate, like toxic fandom shit where they'll take any innocuous interview and treat it like this is now like suddenly, this shows that these are the people who are trying to ruin our entertainment or they don't give a fuck, and it's like, can't you just like exist?
Bro, they're humans.
Yeah, like, you know, oh, they make jokes, they're human. Sometimes they'll fuck with the fans a little bit, you know, something that every creative does. And like some creatives will even say, I did it as a joke to piss off the fan base. I thought it was funny. Like this exists even in the past.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep pushing on.
And the story's theme, in order to generate shallow girl boss moments that don't actually make these women look cool, they just make everyone else look dumb.
Maybe it's just a case of, you don't need powers to do good. Maybe that's just what
I
he's
love
trying
when
to
I put
present.
the video game on the easy setting so that I don't die. I love that. It's a great part of the game.
Active, capable person. And if she's low OP, I don't give a shit. It's
I'm sorry, that's funny. That's probably why I said it. It's fucking funny. If she's OP, I don't give a shit.
Can't joke nowadays.
You know what I do find funny though? Is that this fit right now is making me think, okay, him saying funny lines, he's got a hat on, oh no.
Play the fucking video, dude.
Jay or whatever, cheesy, but like you don't need to have powers to be hero.
Wait, so he explains the intention there. He explains it, and he still mischaracterizes as, oh, you just want girl boss moments. Bro.
Like, you don't... Come on now, man.
You still didn't catch it?
Well, hold on, I want to see this meme.
You just don't get it, do you?
You don't get it.
Okay, so yeah, I agree. Batman's a terrible character. He doesn't have powers, so he can't be a hero, bro.
Oh, they're just trying to do man boss moments.
Yeah, it's a big man boss, dude.
Yeah, they're just trying to suck up to orphans, you know?
They're really the orphan agenda.
The orphan agenda.
Yeah, remember when we were watching that bus scene on Nobody where he like kicks the shit out of all the Russian guys in the bus? Yeah, he's just a man boss, bro. He doesn't have powers. How are you doing that, man? What the fuck, dude?
But Spider-Man and his story weren't always like this. Back in the day, he could handle not just one, but multiple major supervillains at one time. Heck, in the first time he encountered the X-
No, that's not even true.
Can't.
With the Sinister Six, they were literally in different areas of the city. That's why he beat them.
He's never beaten the Sinister Six, like, unless it's severe plot armor. I don't even remember this ever happening, but if it ever did, it's plot armor. He has never beaten the Sinister Six while they're all fighting him at once.
Yeah, like, also the Sinister Six, like, that annual, that was, like, the one and only time the Sinister Six appeared. They didn't appear again till the 90s. Like, they were gone forever. He never fought again like that again.
Honestly.
I mean, but
the only time I've ever even seen him do it in a piece of media is when he has the symbiote on. Like, you ever read Spider's Shadow?
Yes.
Like, yeah, he has the symbiote on and he kills a bunch of the Sinister Six members. In Spectacular, he has the symbiote on before he couldn't beat them without the symbiote.
So he only went to an alternate timeline where he's being taken over by a fucking alien.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but like as SK said, it's like they were all fighting at him one at a time. Like that's the only reason why he won. Did he even read the comic or did he just see the cover?
I don't think he did, or he's forgetting it.
I think he does read these comics. I think he's just misremembering it. Like
misreparenting.
Yeah.
Good faith.
Well, like my hero Superman will approach them in good faith, obviously.
The X-Men, he handled the entire team by himself without too much trouble, and that's no one-off outlier either. That used to just be normal for him. This guy was supposed to be very hard to put down.
He's not.
Oh man, Man, so you know
wow,
what you should.
I love the. Hold on, he uses the X-Men example, dude. He literally fucking is running away from them. If the X-Men, if the X-Men fought him all at once, he's fucking dead. What is Spider-Man doing against Professor X? Please tell me. Please let me know.
Honestly, bro, like if you like it so much that Spider-Man's a badass and takes on a lot of people, why don't you like the Spider Society chase? Why don't you like that then?
Yeah, that's interesting. It's funny you say that, man. Because that other guy,
he's just standing there.
Look at those other guys in the back, man. They're just standing there.
Also, literally, Stan Lee has said that the reasoning they do for fight scenes is who's ever supposed to win wins. So if it's a Spider-Man comic, Spider-Man has to win. If it's
all right, no, that's a bad line out of context. I'll be real.
Well, I mean, no,
out of context. He's trying to give the context.
No. I'm
Yeah,
saying
but
no. I know. I'm sorry. I'll let you explain. Shut the fuck up. I'll let you explain. I was just saying a lot of like people try to use that as like a justification as like why a character wins or why it's not plot armor. So I'm just saying I don't. That quote's kind of.
But like I said, Stan Lee said like that when the writer wants that people always ask me who would win in a fight. I always say whoever the writer wants to win the fight, and it's like that literally was. I mean, that's carried on for a lot of comics, so it could easily just say like, oh well, this new character, like Shmuppy Whuppy or something like that, has to win the fight. So he fights Spider-Man, he's gonna win because he has to win. Like, there's a lot of comics that are written like that. So again, like even in those old comics, yeah, he won because Spider-Man had to win. If it was an X-Men comic, Spider-Man would have to lose.
Well, even when he fights, like, okay, so like, there's an issue recently, semi-recently, where he fights, or he's like running from the Avengers, and he like, with Captain Marvel, he like puts a web capsule in her mouth. Spider-Man's not beating fucking Captain Marvel though. Like in an actual fight, he's not beating her. That's just not happening.
Yeah, he if anything, he just distracted her while he runs away.
Like, I think there's an argument to be made on like, if they can set up the situation to where Spider-Man can come
Nicholas.
Out, like if it's like a thing like that where like he's able to like use good tactics and win, I think it's okay. But like I think there is an argument of like there are just characters who do beat others, and like being like, oh wow, whoever the writer wants to win is like, okay, it's like that's still not a good argument.
Yeah, like let's say like Peter fights Thanos on his own. It's like, well, I mean, Peter needed to win. I don't know, like it's just straight up fist fight.
Right.
It's like, dude, no, that's stupid. You shouldn't win that.
The Suicide Squad needed to beat Green Lucas,
Yeah.
Yeah,
dude, we all know Green Lucas is boundless.
And it's not like I 100% agree with it or anything. I'm just bringing it up because he keeps trying to like bring up the whole like, oh, the X-Men, he went up against the X-Men and fought, but it's like, do you not realize what was the mentality during a lot of those? Like, yeah, modern comics have like kind of changed to some degree, and some stories still haven't. Like, you can kind of tell like there's some stories that are probably still employing that mentality, but it's like that was very common back then. So guess what, dude? If you read an X-Men issue where they have to fight Spider-Man, guess what? Spider-Man's gonna fucking lose because it's their comic.
Someone said Green Lucas confirmed for Spider-Man 3.
Honestly, that'll be peak.
Dude, they gotta have the side mission.
Hey, Pimpin, I need your help.
The Disagreement Day side mission.
Yeah.
You have to beat the Amazing Lucas in a debate.
That's fucking impossible. That's straight up impossible.
They're going to Silk will use her bad face debate tactics and
It's just an unwinnable boss fight.
He needed to finish fights by himself.
Oh my god.
Appreciate me not talking about the race of Miles this entire time, because that is not what this is about, and I didn't need to mention it to make my argument. But there is something that is worth asking. Can you also avoid that topic while justifying why Miles should stick around? Between
what? What's the Black Lives Matter thing? What?
Hey yo.
Yeah, like,
I didn't notice how I didn't have to hold on. Notice how I didn't have to bring in race. Now I'm gonna bring in race. Can you justify that? He said, "Can you justify why he should be around without bringing up his skin color?"
Is about,
yes, because he's a different character.
I didn't need to mention it to make my
argument.
He
doesn't even elaborate how they're exactly the same.
Yeah, like,
something that is.
I mean, if anything, now you bringing it up makes it more suspicious. It's like you've now.
Why you bringing it up?
Like honestly, if he just ended it at like, no, this is not about his race, don't go to that. I honestly would have been like, okay, fine, that's good. Whatever.
You know,
all right.
and even if he wanted to bring down the race thing or anything, you know what he could have just done is say, and this is not about his race, and I don't want to make it about. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people, you know, bad faith actors that want to make it about race, but it's not about race. So let's move on.
Yep.
Like that was so damn easy.
But
That is worth asking. Can you also
Yeah.
avoid that topic while justifying
Yes, I
why
can.
Miles should stick around?
'cause
Between
he's
not
a
using his powers right, not getting his personality right, and not understanding his moral foundation, the modern interpretation of Spider-Man seems to be getting increasingly detached from the roots that made him famous. And some of
Man.
you detract
Maybe, I mean, yeah, I can understand why it does from your perspective, because you just don't even understand the character. It's insane.
may
Also,
say,
too,
well,
is he trying to make it seem like Miles is a? Also, he keeps trying because he keeps mixing and matching a lot of stuff. It makes it sound like sometimes whenever he brings up MCU Peter, like as if it's Miles's fault that Peter is now becoming like what he deems as incompetent and stupid. Like, is he trying to imply that Peter is trying to be shafted so they can market Miles? Like, is that what he's going for? Like,
I don't know, because he won't elaborate.
Yeah, he doesn't elaborate.
well,
Yeah,
the
'cause
character
even
has
if
to
you're gonna
change with the
try to say that
times.
that was
And
bad
even though
faith,
things are different now,
he
that
didn't explain enough.
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad. This is a new Spider-Man for a new era, and there is some truth to that. Not all new Spider-Man stories are bad, they're merely different. But be that as it may, I personally prefer the Spider-Man of old. I like what he did, I like
You wanted new stuff though. You said I want new stuff from Miles. I want him to do something different from Peter.
Well,
but now you're complaining that it's not like
remember
Peter.
earlier in the video where he was like saying he's exactly like Peter?
Yeah.
Okay, so if he's exactly like Peter, and they're just doing it, so
Then
why
what's
don't
the
you just read
disagreement?
Miles' comics? Yeah,
What's
so
the
why don't you just read
disagreement?
Miles' comics?
You
Well,
agree with the stories
well,
then,
it's just
right?
because he's a copy. Okay, that's a metatextual thing. You should still be able to enjoy the stories, right? Because they should still be well written, right? If he's just a carbon copy, right?
Yeah.
It's clear he wants more of the same. So if Miles is more of the same, why aren't you happy?
Yeah.
Me when I'm racist.
I'm genuinely not, I'm genuinely trying not to like seem like I'm being intentionally obtuse. I just genuinely don't get what he's trying to say. Like that's
Because he won't elaborate. I don't even like pulling the whole "you're racist" because of this thing card.
I do.
But like,
Sure you do, man.
I genuinely don't like doing that. But then when I hear the arguments from these people, I'm like, okay, yeah, all right.
Don't explain, and it's like I'm gonna think this seems a bit racist to me, and they're gonna always pull the whole "that's bad faith." Then you should have elaborated further.
Then you shouldn't be racist.
It's like, well, yeah, racist, but also to elaborate so that way I don't come out with a bad faith interpretation. Because again, I'm left with fucking nothing.
Sorry,
Anyone else think he's a
pretty
racist?
much-
I do.
The video's pretty much over. Does anybody in the chat
I like how
have
we-
any disagreements with any of the main
There-
topic?
There
or...
are people, yes, I'm getting DMs, but let's just
Oh, you're
finish.
getting DMs.
I like
Well,
what
I mean,
he
the video's
represented.
pretty much
if
over.
we are coming to an age where the classic
get this shit
Spider-Man is
over with.
outdated, and this new guy and his replacement are here to stay, then fine. I guess Spider-Man is no longer for people like me. I no longer have any interest in reading any more of his comics, watching any more of his movies, or playing any more of his games. If you like these new Spider-Man,
bad, so
then more
sad.
power
I like
to
how
you.
he brings
Have
up
fun
I'm not
with
interested in
that.
reading any more of his comics, then shows literally like the 2 fucking comics that feature him and Miles working together in that thing, like the dedicated ones. Okay, so like why don't you show the Ultimate Spider-Man thing? Wasn't this video made like 9 days ago?
Yeah, like
Okay, so why don't you show Ultimate Spider-Man?
that's
That comic, that Double Trouble comics from like 2016, 2017, I'm pretty sure.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy how like Peter literally gave Miles his blessing in the comics? Isn't that crazy, guys?
That is
And these
crazy.
motherfuckers won't shut the hell up.
Also, we live.
These racist ass motherfuckers.
Well, no, Peter didn't do that. That was just the writers doing that because they want to pander. but-
It's Brian Michael Bendis, you know,
Yeah,
like one
right.
of these Spider-Man writers. Fucking.
Miles was
I would
created
like
because
to.
of Barack
Great
Obama.
Necromancer says he would like to discuss Spider-Man 3. No, Great Necromancer. No.
Dude, I thought you were gonna say the Arkham games, and I almost like.
I say I thought the Arkham games too.